Three cinephiles have come together to bring you strong opinions, controversial statements, epic battles, and plenty of fun. Introducing our host, the man who watches 52 movies a week, drinks 52 beers a movie, loves women but hates the woman. From the foreign land of Canada, our host, Moodz 616. He is widely known as the man who talks too much. His worst enemies are Postmaster P and Pee Wee Herman. He said Hellraiser was overrated and Leprechaun Origins wouldn't suck. He's the full-blooded half-Mexican, JP. Finally, we have the man who doesn't talk enough. He is best friends with Sean S. Cunningham. His favorite horror movie is Gummo. He is your favorite Jew and mine, Jeremy. Together they are known for extending a helping hand to vampircons everywhere. They are the 22 shots of Moodz and horror.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. The 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror episode 33 is coming at you live right now. I am your host, Moodz 616, and of course, I've always got my homeboys with me. NES Ruler, welcome back. Also,
what up? I missed you fellas.
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks.
And of course, we've got the homeboy, Double Shot J, also known as JP. What's up, boys?
Yo, what's up, dude?
What's going on?
Yeah. Oh, man, I gotta say, I'm a little tired today. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I've been tired this whole week, man. Well, I've been tired for like a month straight.
You still recovering from your 21st birthday party or what?
Well, yeah. Well, not really.
Details.
I'm not much of a partier, as you guys know. I had a few drinks, though. You know, a few more than my usual 2 and fall over drunk.
So what'd you do then?
Moodz knows all about that. I went out with a couple of buddies from school to a few bars and things like that.
Awesome. You guys hit up some strip clubs?
Oh yeah, my 21st. Yeah, no, that's what you do when you turn 18.
Is that what? Is
yeah,
it 18?
But there are strip clubs that you can drink at, so you have to hit those ones up when you're 21.
Yeah, you can get into strip clubs when you're 18. Why is it 21 up in the foreign land of Canada?
No, it's 19.
Oh, that's right. 'Cause you could drink at 19, right?
Yeah, 19 at in BC where I am. And every odd province is like 18 or something. I don't know. It's really weird in Canada. It's bizarre, but yeah, I know. I've actually that's totally true, man. Because I remember going into a strip club down in Seattle one time, and I walked in, didn't think anything of it and stuff, and then they're like, I'm like, yeah, can I get a beer? They're like, no, because we don't serve alcohol here. And I'm like, what the fuck is a strip club? But it was one of those 18-year-old strip clubs. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, needless to say, I was a little pissed off, and actually ended up getting my money back and
left. Went to a better one.
Oh yeah, man! I was like, well, dude, I'm not going to sit here and watch strippers with no beer.
You're by yourself. You just went to a strip club.
No. I was with the wife and
that wouldn't be creepy at all.
There was like 6 of us or something, but I just
Your wife went.
Oh yeah, she likes the strippers.
Yeah, I went one time and I was 17, and they didn't serve alcohol at that one either, but we could leave it, like we could walk out to the car at any time and drink, and they didn't care. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but you also live in the middle of nowhere, so it's like, I think they're a little more lenient out.
Son, I live on the mean streets of southwestern Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Was that strip club in a barn, JP?
No, but it was funny because I was there with one of my boys, and it was his girlfriend worked there, like as a stripper. So that was a tiny bit awkward, actually.
That is a little awkward.
And you know what's funny is they actually he told him it was my 18th birthday, which was a lie. I was 17, which was illegal. And they actually took me on the stage and all gave me lap dances and stuff. And then they tied my hands to a chair and hit me with a belt, and it was the worst thing. That was actually one of the worst moments of my life, probably, because it was really awkward. I don't know how people enjoy that at all, because to me it just hurt like hell, and I was like, this is stupid. Why would anybody do this? And I was like,
how the hell are they doing it to
I'm
you?
out.
I'm not that whole pain and sex thing, man.
Yeah.
I don't
it's
know
good for
about that,
Hellraiser, not good for JP.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either.
Yeah.
I don't think the two should really mix, but
Yeah. But I like the concept of it, just not the execution.
Yeah. The execution. Yeah, man, it's pain. It's pain. That's not cool.
So, anyway, that was kind of one of the craziest stories. I was very vague on it, and more shit happened, but And ever since then, I've kind of was like, I think I'm going to calm down in my life a little bit.
So did you calm down?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I haven't done anything crazy like that ever since.
No, that's what a whooping will do to you, right?
Yeah, right?
Why are you tired,
that boy that I was talking about, the dude who I went there with, he's actually I just found out he got 2 to 5.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
For what?
GTA, I think there was some other charges in there, just a bunch of shit, really. I mean, he was in and out of jail for a while.
Damn, GTA, man. That's serious biz, man.
Yeah.
Right there. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. So anything else exciting happen to you boys this week besides Jeremy's 21st birthday?
Yeah, you know what? I have a little other story I could tell real quick. So, you guys remember the Halloween, issue with Halloween 4, right?
Yeah.
So the replacement discs, they were, issued or whatever. So this is, movie related. But I'm waiting and I'm waiting. I'm like, where is this thing? I thought I was supposed to get it by now. And then I get this little postcard in the mail, and I'm like, it says that my package, FedEx does not ship to PO boxes.
Yeah.
So they have my package in like 3 cities away from me, and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, how am I supposed to get this? And I called the place, and no answer. I called 2 days in a row, and then on the thing it says if you don't respond in 10 days, we send it back. And I was like, no, I want that disc. I went through all this trouble. And so I called the big main UPS or FedEx company. And then I talked to some dude on the phone who didn't sound like he knew what he was doing.
Was he Indian?
No, he sounded.
Wow. I was talking.
He was just regular American, possibly black. Just judging by tones of voice. But so he changed the address on it. And since it can't come to my house and it can't come to the PO box, I was like, okay, I'll send it to work. I'll send it to my job, and hopefully I get it. So I'm working, yesterday, today, and stuff, and I'm like, where is this thing? It's still not here.
Yeah, but it's a Sunday though.
Well, 2 days ago.
Okay.
Friday and Saturday.
All right.
So I'm like, where is this thing? It's still not here. It's Saturday. What's up with that? So it's Sunday. I'm still here today, and I'm wondering, where the hell is my thing? I never heard of it, anything about it, and it's I'm pretty sure it's close to that 10-day mark or whatever. And I checked my voicemail on my phone, and it's freaking Eaton Park, and they got my damn DVD. Eaton Park across the road got my DVD at in their diner, and I just roll in and I'm like, hey, you guys got my Halloween 4? And it was a hot girl and stuff, and she was like, she looked at me.
Why did it end up over there?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's next door to my
how do they know to call you?
Work.
But
I
so
don't
they
know
just
that
dropped
either.
it off?
I seriously don't, because they called my cell phone too.
So they just walked into this restaurant or whatever and just handed it to them, and they just accepted it.
I guess so.
Who does that? Who does that? They know that they're not waiting for Halloween 4 replacement disc, and they're just what the fuck?
It just says right on the mail too, the FedEx little envelope that it's in. It has what it is. The listing is right on the cover. It's Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers replacement disc from Anchor Bay, and I'm like. This is very nerdy feeling.
I heard it's just the old Anchor Bay 4 Blu-ray.
Isn't that what they are anyway?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have the set, so.
Yeah, I think that's what they are anyway.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they are, to be honest.
That's the word on the street, so.
Yeah, so that's my stories for the week.
That's not bad. It's pretty goofy, actually. I don't know what's more fucked up is the fact that they delivered it over there or the fact that they accepted it.
Yeah, or the fact that FedEx doesn't ship the damn PO boxes.
What the fuck is the deal with that, man?
I don't know.
Well, Amazon Prime now delivers on Sunday through the post office, which is weird because I ordered my Pee-wee Blu-ray last week, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, but my post office isn't open on Sunday.
Mine isn't either.
So what the hell does that...
No post office is... Oh, but you have a P.O. box.
Yeah.
Huh.
I just found it interesting. I ordered my Pee-wee set. I'm sitting there on Sunday on my birthday, and I hear my fucking doorbell ring. I was like, who the hell's that? So I go to the front door, and it's the fucking post office. I was like, why the hell is the post office delivering something on Sunday? Sure enough, it was fucking Amazon, so I guess the post office struck up a deal with Amazon that they deliver on Sundays now.
So it's just the Amazon Prime stuff.
Yeah, it's just the Amazon Prime stuff.
Every other company in the world can like work on Sundays, but for some reason the postal system can't.
Yeah.
Something
the
really
postal
important.
system doesn't even work on Saturdays up here. And we get mail Monday through Friday, and barely if that. Seriously, like, I fucking never get mail on Fridays.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird. Like, a lot of times, like, I'll check the mail on Friday, I'm like, what the fuck? Of course there's nothing in there. And then Monday I'll get, like, a shitload. They just, like, skip Fridays. So, basically, no Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Horse shit.
That is pretty horse. It seems like everything in Canada is horse shit.
Fuck, man. Our postal
even
system,
the horse shit.
I don't even understand. Like, I mean, we talked about this many times, but I don't know what the fuck they're doing, man.
Yeah.
Like, it is just mind-blowing. Ugh, so bad. So bad.
They need to get their damn thumbs out their asses up there, man.
I know, man. It's so frustrating. I think
Monty's, man.
This gets brought up, like, every week at least, because there's always something going on. But, you know, on a lighter note, though, I actually was up at my buddy's house. We're having some beers for his birthday there last night, and I look at my phone, and Ryan Nicholson had texted me.
Really?
Yeah. And he's like, hey, he's like, what's up, man? He's like, did you get that Blu-ray that you ordered? Because I'd ordered one about 8 months ago from Lot Digger, right?
I thought they were having a problem.
Yeah, and I never got it and stuff, and I was dealing with his guy and stuff, and he was never getting back to me, and I was emailing back and forth, and he just fucking never really tell me what the deal was. So then Ryan, he emailed me up and said, hey, man, did you get that Blu-ray? And I said, you know what? I actually heard from your guy last week, and he asked me to send him the receipt for the Blu-ray. So I sent it to him, and I told him in the email, I said, hey, man, just get back to me. Like, let me know what the deal is. And, of course, he never did. So I told Ryan this, and he said, you know what, fuck it, man. He goes, I'm going to, you know, send out that Blu-ray that you ordered plus Famine. I'm going to give you a free Famine Blu-ray, too.
Nice.
And so he's going to, you know, FedEx it up. And he was actually in Richmond. So he's just in Vancouver right now. So he's pretty close to where I am. So
don't trust FedEx.
But whatever. But the thing is, he's taking matters into his own hands now. And he's like, yeah, this is what we're doing. We're going to send this up. And I was like, oh, thanks, dude. That's fucking awesome. So we just kept talking. He's like, hey, man, how's the weather up there?
He's my favorite director, man.
I was like,
Ryan's awesome, man. I'm
like, it's actually pretty warm up here right now for this time of year. But yeah, it was really odd. So
I love
But yeah, big ups to Ryan Nicholson for, you know, stepping up and actually, you know, giving me some goods with some bonuses in there.
Famine's an interesting one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, actually. So
no offense, Mr. Nicholson. It's not my favorite of his films, but it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. So that was, you know, a little interesting thing that happened this week, but probably the most interesting thing. Yeah. So
now you have Ryan Nicholson's phone number.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you could be an extra in his movie with that fucking beer of yours.
No shit.
Holy hell, that thing is big.
Oh man, it's
I seen that picture today on my phone. I was like, whoa.
I know, man. It's keeping my face nice and cozy. It's awesome. It's awesome. But
I missed the pedophile stash, dude.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That thing is it's just so gross. Like, I can't even look at myself in the mirror with that thing, man. It's just like, I look at myself and I go, wow, I could really punch you in the face right now.
He can't go back to his old videos because he sees that and has to look away.
It's so bad. So bad.
Hey, if anybody hasn't seen it, scroll through Moodz' timeline on his YouTube channel. What was that, last November?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That thing was fucking... actually, it's so pedo looking.
Yeah.
I think that Dubby actually commented today, and he's like, man, he's like, the progression in your 88 series with your beard is phenomenal.
Oh my god, you should just take a screenshot of every one, dude, and make a
lapse.
time lapse out of it.
Yeah.
Yes, do
It'd
it.
be hilarious.
It's so good.
That's awesome.
Pedostache. Dude, I'm still pissing myself about Gnome Alone. I laughed about that like 40
Jeremy
times
missed
this
that
week,
last
man.
Yeah, what is it?
There was a DVD announcement for a new film. I think it was like Lionsgate who was putting it out or something, and it was called Gnome Alone, and it's starring Vern Troyer.
Dude, the cover is so fucking funny. He's got
hilarious.
like this ridiculous like goatee, like long red goatee. Oh fuck, it's funny.
I gotta look that up now. That's funny.
It's so good. Anyways,
How's that not copyrighted?
Gnome Alone?
I mean, that's obviously sound like Home Alone.
Wow.
You can't get copyright infringement for something that sounds like something.
I seriously can't wait to see this movie, man. It just looks so bad.
Oh yeah, that does look pretty shitty.
We were totally joking about it, just saying like, you know, the guy that wrote that movie is like, man, I haven't seen Vern Troyer in a long time. He's like,
since Austin Powers Golden.
Yeah.
Since Goldenfinger.
Yeah, exactly.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life.
Death in
Hi,
Portland, America.
phone calls
A tragedy of
into the New York
macabre
One
proportions.
as a
I can honestly tell you that I have never seen
miles from
anything
the
as
town of
shocking
Burkittsville,
as
where
what was
just
discovered
hours
earlier
ago,
today
police
in the
arrested
sleeping
3
vehicle
obsessed movie fans who allegedly committed a series of ritualistic murders after watching last summer's blockbuster movie, The Blair Witch Project.
mass murders in the history of the country.
JP, do we got some news?
Barely.
We barely have news this week. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, there's very, small amount of news this week. There's actually only 2 news stories that I thought were worth writing down, and there's a few DVD announcements. Besides that is it. There was some stuff on, Jurassic World or whatever, but honestly, I don't know how horror that is, so I just skipped on that. There was some other stuff here and there, just honestly nothing worth noting. So the first little piece of news, which I thought was interesting, is Prometheus 2. We got another update on that. Ridley Scott says that the script is finished and is really good. He also says that he is moving away from the ideas about gods and devils and stuff like that, much like the first Prometheus was, and introducing a new alien. So I guess it's back to being an alien film again.
I think that's pretty much what people wanted, though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that teaser in Prometheus of that I guess forget what it was called, but it was like that new alien. He said that looked a little too much like the regular alien, and he wants to do something a little bit different. So, yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about Prometheus 2? You think, I have a feeling that when it eventually happens, it's one of those big budget movies that's going to take a while to be, go through the motions and stuff and release, but I have a feeling it'll do really well and get a high box office take and stuff. It seems like these type of movies always do, but I actually like the first Prometheus, so I'm actually looking forward to this.
Yeah, I don't mind the first one either. But I honestly think even the people that didn't enjoy Prometheus will still go see this.
I'm gonna go see it. I really didn't like it very much. So.
Yeah, so I think that it's gonna do pretty well.
Yeah.
So
it's just not I like the idea of seeing this big movie it might not be horror, but it's sci-fi and it's in that world. And the first Prometheus film felt so big to me, and it's not often you see that that's close to this genre. So, stuff like World War Z obviously gets to that stage, but it's just too I don't know. I don't like the idea of what they did with the zombies in World War Z, but I'm down. You could do whatever you want with sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the next little piece of news I thought was also pretty interesting, and the more I'm hearing about this, the more I'm kind of for it, right? So the Stand remake, we've been hearing, I think since we've started this show, we've talked about the Stand remake.
A lot.
Over a year ago.
Yeah.
And so now the writer, Josh Boone, who was on Kevin Smith's Hollywood Babylon podcast, dropped a little bit of information that he probably wasn't supposed to, maybe. He said that he wants the movie to be really grounded, credible version of the movie. He sold Warner Brothers on a single 3-hour movie. So what happened is the script gets finished. I write it in 5 months. Everybody loves it. Stephen King loves it. $87 million is the budget. Really expensive for a horror drama.
Yeah, that's a big ass budget.
Yeah, that doesn't have set pieces. They come back and said, would you do this as multiple films? And he said, fuck. He's like, I said, fuck yes. So I think we're gonna do like 4 movies. And he's like, I loved my script, but I was willing to drop it at an instant because you were able to do even a truer version of this of the story this way. I can't tell you anything about how we're going to do them or what's going to be in which movie. I'll just say we are going to do 4 movies, and we're going to do The Stand at the highest level you can do it at, with a cast that's going to blow people's minds. We've already been talking to lots of people and have people on board in certain roles that people don't know about. We're looking to go into production next year, maybe in the spring.
So are these going to be 4 TV films?
No, this is going to be theatrical, dog. This is going to be like your Hunger Games, your Twilight, how they do it in this, like sections, which is super smart, right? I mean,
I don't think it's going to do that well, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough to say, man, because updating the Stand, I think, is a really good idea.
I do too.
Because I don't know how many people would be interested in wasting money 4 times to see The Stand.
It's not. No. Have you seen the original Stand?
No.
It's a long.
Yeah, I know it's like a 1,200-page book, but it's like.
Well, it's like a 4-hour. I guess short.
Yeah, but if they're making like 4-hour-and-a-half-long films, like.
But
I don't know if people are willing to drop $13 times 4 to go see The Stand.
Well, you're not gonna see it. It's not gonna be like one fucking year.
I know that, but I'm just saying.
No,
I just don't think there's that big of an appeal to make it 4 parts for people to go see it all 4.
I don't know. One of the biggest writers of all time doing something. Look, all right. First of all, you look at something like World War Z, okay?
I'm not going to say I'm not going to go see it. I'm just saying that.
I understand. I'm just, debating your point. You look at something like World War Z, all right? We all know it was crap. You look at the trailer and it was crap. It had a $300 million budget or whatever. But you know what? It made money. Yeah. That's great, because when you have that machine behind it, that marketing machine of Hollywood that's willing to put in these millions of dollars, they almost brainwash you into trickery, into seeing like it because it's so big, like a summer blockbuster.
It's also who they got to star in that film too.
Yeah.
To be honest, and that's a really big selling point. I mean, I'll never forget the first time I seen it. I was like, what? Brad Pitt's in this movie? Mm-hmm. It like kind of caught me off guard. I was like, wow, this is like a really big budget fucking horror film that Brad Pitt's in. I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah. So, I mean, it got my attention, and a lot of brain dead people will be like, Brad Pitt's in it. I'm going to go see it. I don't even care what the movie is, fucking idiots. But you know how it rolls.
I just think that we don't see adult dramas broken up into 4 parts. We only see teen-based films broken up into multiple parts.
But I think this could. I think it could really work, because if you've ever read The Stand before, it's quite a fucking feat, man. There's so much in there.
Yeah.
So that this actually really does make sense to break it up like this.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just thinking on a logical sense. Mm-hmm. If they're going to spend all this money, because you said they're going to be $86 million just on the one film, so I would think that probably if they're breaking it up into 4 films, and they're thinking that, these are probably going to do $60 million a film if they're an hour and a half long. Yeah. So that's a $240 million investment. So
over 4 years, though, right? I mean, so the thing is, I actually think this can, if marketed right, I have a feeling this can reach a wide variety of audiences. I mean, you just turn it into like post-apocalyptic stuff like this is hot right now. You know what I mean? Like the Walking Dead and shit like that. I almost, the Hunger Games. Like, look at that film series.
See, now
right?
we're getting into another thing now. Hunger Games is based towards teens, though.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it only based towards teens, or is that the primary audience?
That's the primary audience.
Probably primary, but
I would think the Stand's primary audience would be,
because when
25-year-olds.
When Twilight was happening, it mostly was like people's daughters and stuff. But when the Hunger Games, like I know, like grown adults who are like get excited for those films.
Yeah. But it's mainly a teen-based audience, just like the Twilight films and just like people got excited about Harry Potter. They're still marketed towards. I
honestly think that there still is a really big audience for The Stand, though, because I mean, even people my age, like I mean, even my parents and stuff like that, like we were really big Stephen King fans, and once that comes out, I think we're going to check it out. There's still that whole core fan base that Stephen King has. Like anything that that's related to him, people check out, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't really seem to get old. It doesn't outdate itself at all.
Well,
it's like, I mean. Yeah,
matters what it gets rated, man. It all depends on what it gets rated. If it gets rated PG-13,
but I have a feeling it'll be PG-13.
Then maybe there's a chance.
I think that it will be marketed a little more towards like older people. But I mean, if they're going to do PG-13, that's just fucking.
Well, is it though? I mean, because what was the original was a TV movie, dude. You know what I'm saying? So
but The Stand, you could make a rated R version.
Yeah,
most definitely with the content that's there. But I mean, they had to dumb it down for the movie, right?
When you do big shit like this, though, you can get away with quite a bit in a PG-13 film. Like when you make it as big as like World War Z or The Hunger Games or something. You know what I mean? But I think you have a lot of things going for it. One, it's Stephen King, right? And two, obviously we've seen terrible Stephen King stuff throughout the years. But anytime you see Stephen King with a lot of money behind it, it usually does good when you have that Hollywood machine pushing it. And, like anything that you go back from like The Green Mile to like this, Stand By Me, stuff like that. Like anytime you have like big people behind it.
Yeah, but you're not talking about 4 separate movies though. That's the main thing. I'm not saying that's not okay. One movie I could see it. That's totally a different story.
Because all that matters is the first year, right? That's what matters most. Is the first one.
Yeah.
That'll make or break it right there. If it does bad, they can always pull the plug, which would suck.
Yeah.
That would be terrible. Like
I think if they commit to it, they should already finish.
I honestly think this movie's going to do pretty well. I mean,
I have a feeling
a $70 million budget or whatever, $85 million or whatever it was. I think they'll make money on this.
Yeah, I think Matthew McConaughey is attached right now as to the lead character.
See, now that's good. That's good casting right there. Because
but that's 4. I don't know. The thing with 4 films is making me iffy.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really. I mean, it all basically depends on how the first one does.
Well, let's also look at it's like what we're dealing with too. The Stand is an amazing story. The Stand is a good story, right?
Yeah.
So you got good subject matter, right? And I just keep looking at the TV movie. Okay. The TV movie is still the biggest TV event of all time in terms of movies to this day. And if you watch it now, it's like, it's really dated and needs updated. And you could tell that they were really taking on a lot trying to do this. You know what I mean? Dated. And it was a huge undertaking to try to fit that big ass story into a TV movie, a 4-part miniseries. Because I could tell that I watched it recently. This is not even a year ago, and even the character in a 4-hour fucking movie, like the character development still wasn't there because they didn't have time to properly develop the characters and the means to properly develop the characters and stuff like that. There was a lot of things wrong with it, but it's still pretty damn epic for a TV movie. And I think big budgeting this thing, oh man, I'm actually really pumped for this, and I have a feeling that this is going to do really, really well.
Got to get those right people in there, man. You know what? I just made a conscious decision right now. If Clint Howard doesn't have any type of part in this in these 4 movies, I'm not watching it. I have no idea why.
Okay.
Clint Howard.
But no, I mean, well, he says right there, like, we're, talking to people the cast is gonna blow people's minds. I mean, that's not really, like, I mean, blowing people's minds, that's really selling it. He's not just saying we got like really good people involved. He's saying we'll blow people's minds. Of course, he is the writer, but I mean, I don't know. I'm excited for this. This is probably the perfect film to be remade, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've talked about this many times. It was a perfect candidate. That one was so dated, the old TV movie. But like I said, this one really comes down to who you're going to put in this film. And if he's already talking about blowing people's minds with the cast, it's a good start.
Yep.
Really good start.
Yep. So after that is all for the main news. Now we have DVD announcements.
That was short.
Yep. The Beyond Grindhouse Releasing is proud to announce the full specs on Fulci's The Beyond, which I've never seen. So there's tons of features on this thing.
It's 3 discs, right?
It is 3 discs with glow-in-the-dark artwork, housing 2 Blu-rays and 1 bonus CD with Fabio Frizzi.
Mm-hmm.
Soundtrack remastered from the original studio tapes. Tons of bonus stuff. Of course, you can find the full listing of that on Grindhouse Releasing's website. You can pre-order right now from DVDdiabolic.com or diabolicdvd.com, and you get Lucio Fulci's Cat in the Brain for a special release reduced price. So head over to the Diabolic DVD and pick up and pre-order The Beyond if you would like
DVD
that.
Diabolic, that made me
Yeah,
laugh.
shut up.
I'm so so awesome. I always get stoked whenever I hear about another edition of The Beyond.
Yeah.
Then I just said to myself, I'm like, do I need another edition of The Beyond? Of course I do. It's The Beyond.
But glow-in-the-dark artwork, dude,
Oh,
I don't think I've seen that before. That's actually a pretty simple idea that is cool.
Yeah,
Grindhouse is killing it with the releases right now.
I just got The Swimmer, man.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta watch that shit still.
Yeah, every release that they put out is just fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be awesome. Really cool stuff.
After that, we have Don't Look Now is getting a Criterion release. This is... Oh, did I say when The Beyond was coming out? That's coming out February 10th of 2015, just letting you guys know. But Don't Look Now is getting a Criterion Blu-ray. It's coming out February 10th. I actually don't know anything about this film.
Really? It's an occult.
Yeah.
It's a possession film, right, Moodz?
I
I stand corrected.
No,
I remember reading about it in one of my sections this semester.
It's been so long since I've seen it, man. Oh God, it's been so many years since I've seen the movie.
Yeah, I swore it was an occult film, but I'm not sure.
It says plays a married couple on an extended trip to Venice following a family tragedy. While in a elegantly decaying city, they have a series of inexplicable, terrifying, and increasingly dangerous experiences.
Yeah, it's an occult film.
Yeah, I remember Donald Sutherland being in it. And
Yeah.
being really good and stuff. So I fucking need to check that one out. But that's pretty cool. Criterion's releasing that awesome stuff.
I hear it has one of the better endings in horror history.
I gotta watch that movie again. It's been so long. But yeah, Criterion always does good.
Yep. I'm a fan.
Yes.
And next up, we have Big Driver. This is a film I talked about recently. I can't remember. I believe it was on episode 30. I think I gave it like a 6.5 out of 10. This is a Stephen King film made for the Lifetime Network. It's hitting DVD and digital January 27th from Lionsgate Home Entertainment.
Mm-hmm. So is this going to be like the TV cut of the film, or is this going to be like a director's cut?
I have a feeling there's only a TV cut that exists. Like, okay. I don't think that there was... Like I said, the violence was as much as you could expect from a TV cut or a TV film in terms of the actual rape. I felt like the revenge was lacking, and that's what kind of... I thought that the rape actually was effective. The revenge just I felt like was tame, which is not.
Well, it was like TV. It was like TV revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So, but I still recommend grabbing Big Driver if you can find it. You know, for $5 to $7 on DVD or whatever. It's all right. You know, like it's a Lifetime movie, guys. But I thought that it was all right.
And I still can't get over that, man.
Yeah, right. That is so weird.
On the Lifetime. So good.
Yeah. After that, we have Fear Clinic. I guess this was originally a web series dealing with different phobias and stuff like that. It's a Robert Hall film. Now, I don't know if that's the same Robert Hall, the effects guy who did the Chrome Skull films or not. It could be a different guy. But this is going to be released on DVD in 2015, February 10th, courtesy of Anchor Bay, DVD and Blu-ray. It made its debut at Screamfest, stars Robert Englund, Fiona Dourif, who is pretty awesome. I actually really liked her in Curse of Chucky.
Yeah.
Of course, daughter of Brad Dourif.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, it sounds alright. So check out Fear Clinic when that comes out.
Cool.
And finally, we have Rec 4 was picked up by Magnet. This is, of course, the fourth film in the popular Rec series. This one's subtitled Apocalypse.
Nice.
And
what did you guys think of part 3?
I have not seen any of them.
I thought it was alright. I
actually-
reviewed it on the show.
Yeah, I actually did you?
Yeah.
Holy shit,
you did.
Fuck, I don't remember that. But yeah,
you like
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought the wedding scene, like the wedding setting was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah, see,
I love all those films.
I really want to. I think that would be a good series to do on the show maybe one day, because maybe when the fourth one comes out.
It is it's a good start. You know, the first 3 films, in my opinion,
Yeah.
are really, the first 2 are just fantastic.
Yeah, they're amazing.
They're really, really good films.
Yeah, so I heard the third one kind of went more towards a like comedic tone. Is that true?
It definitely is a lot different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's put it
So,
that way.
I hear this fourth one is going to be the final film, supposedly. And I believe the original
Is it called The Final Chapter?
the original co-director of the first 2 films came back to do the fourth one. And he said that I think they're going away from the comedy horror, and it's going to be more like the original 2. And Magnet will be releasing that on demand January 2nd, 2015, probably DVD after that at some point. And Jeremy actually rated Rec 3 Genesis a 6.5 on episode number 6.
That's what I thought.
Oh, episode 6. That makes sense now. Holy crap, that's a long time ago. Okay. Cool.
That's all the news.
That is all the news bad. You really were right. There was not a lot.
Oh, actually, there's that other thing. Our homie Lost Witch is releasing a VHS of Gutterballs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Moving
the
on
fan
up.
edition.
Yeah.
So what exactly do you get with the this release? Because
I would love to actually sit down and talk with him a little bit to really find out what he's doing, because I'm kind of a little confused on the whole process of what he's actually doing. I think he's releasing VHS editions, but
Yeah.
I guess this comes with a bonus DVD that will be compiled of content submitted by fans of the film. So I'll definitely leave the email where you can send submissions to different stories or opinions on Gutterballs or whatever you have to offer, and make the DVD cut, I guess.
Maybe our show will make the cut.
Yeah,
Brought
we're
to you
actually
by
going
the
to be
home.
doing a Gutterballs show.
Yeah.
I thought that timing of that news was really interesting, since we had that episode planned.
That is kind of interesting.
Forever.
That's
Considering
next week's episode, isn't it?
Yep.
I talked, I brought up Brian Nicholson in the beginning of the show, and this news about the VHS release, and we're actually doing those movies next week. So pretty interesting timing, I got to say.
Yeah,
Rand.
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So that is all the news.
Yeah, not a lot of news this week.
Damn, it is pretty short.
It's pretty crazy, actually. Usually the news goes, 45 minutes to an hour?
Yeah.
Usually, sometimes an hour 25, man.
So crazy. Alrighty, so getting into mood swings here. And we've got the November 25th, 2014 DVD and Blu-ray releases. And I gotta say, guys, there's really not a lot this week at all. It's very, very scrawny.
It is.
On the releases this week. It's actually pretty crazy. But I don't know, maybe it'll pick up in December, I guess. But first up here from Blue Underground, we've got the brand new Blu-ray release of Shockwaves on Blu-ray, and you can also get it on special edition DVD also. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the transfer looks like on Shockwaves, because I got to say, I think the Shockwaves regular standard DVD transfer is actually probably one of Blue Underground's worst ones. So this is interesting that they're, doing a Blu-ray release for this one. But Shockwaves, really fun film. Interesting thing about Shockwaves, it's actually rated PG.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. It's a Nazi zombie movie, right?
Yeah, it is a Nazi zombie film, I think from 1977 or something like that. But I think that there is a story behind why this movie ended up getting a PG rating or something. I can't remember the whole I was reading it one time in Rue Morgue magazine. There was like a write-up on it. And it kind of like slipped by the censor board. I don't know. And they ended up giving like a PG rating, which it kind of shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I got to look up that story. Yeah. Next up, we got a film called Phobia. And it basically kind of has a cover like Dario Argento's Opera. I'm kind of looking at this thing, but...
Yeah, I actually like the cover, and I am interested in the film. It looks indie and stuff, but I mean, it actually looks alright.
Yeah, it's released by Image, so, it could be hit and miss. Image is very hit and miss, but I like the cover. I'm kind of digging it. Interesting.
Nice.
Next up here, we've got the Mystery Science Theater. Which one is this one? 31 Collector's Edition tin. Man,
now,
seriously,
do you own any of those?
They're expensive as shit, man.
Yeah, dude, this one's going for $58. So
that's Shout Factory.
Yep.
Oh, is it Shout Factory? Oh,
yeah,
man.
they do all those.
They do all those.
Man, so crazy.
They're so expensive.
Yeah, but you know what? People buy those. Like, I know there's like people that really love that.
I would love them too if they weren't so fucking expensive.
Yeah, and some of them are really out of print and stuff now too. So good luck trying to get that collection. That probably is one of the more expensive collections to go after.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, fuck, if there's 31 of these releases already, holy shit.
Yeah. How do you guys do you like that stuff?
It's funny.
I really enjoyed it. I haven't watched it like in a long time. And I own none of them. I own absolutely none of them.
Mm-hmm. I don't know any either, but I do know that back in the day on the Sci-Fi Channel, back when the Sci-Fi Channel used to be good, I always talk about that. They used to have Mystery Science Theater on all the time, and I didn't get it back then. I was too young to really understand it, but I did remember. I think I caught like Squirm on there at one point, and I was like, I really liked it.
Yeah.
Even with them talking on it.
You get bootlegs of them, but
it's
like. They're not that good of a quality, but like I've seen like complete collections before, but yeah.
Next up from Scorpion Releasings, we've got the remake of Mosque of Red Death. This is also
that was being remade.
Yeah.
Produced by Roger Corman, I guess. Of course, he did the first one too. I've never actually seen this new version of this at all. I don't really know a lot about it, to be honest. It kind of came out of nowhere for me, but anyways, Mosque of Red Death. Then we got a movie called Wake the Witch. Yeah, A Forest Conjuring. Oh, man.
Is that really the subtitle?
Yeah, A Forest Conjuring. Yeah.
That is absolutely terrible.
Man,
that's like Forest of the Living Dead that's at Walmart.
This movie's going for $8.99 on Amazon.com.
Brand new, like just spanking brand new. Just came out.
Holy fuck, man! The running time on this motherfucker is 114 minutes.
Yep,
it's bad already. Anytime the running time on like an indie film is over 90 minutes, chances are they don't know what they're doing.
That's fucking crazy, man. Jesus. Yeah, it doesn't look very good. It looks pretty. I don't know. Who knows? But. This next one I'm actually interested in. I have it on pre-order, but we'll see if I actually get it shipped to me. How that fucking goes. We've got a movie called Night Terrors.
Night Terrors!
Night Terrors.
That's a Joe Lynch thing.
Yeah. The Return of VHS Horror. I'm assuming that this is a like anthology type film, I want to say. And it's being released by Camp Motion Pictures, which is interesting.
And it says hardcore on the gore from wickedchannel.com.
I'm not 100% if it is an anthology film. It just kind of seems like it is one, but I don't know. It's got Santa Claus on the cover, and he's got a fucking skull in his hand, so...
Yeah, it's like a crystal ball skull.
Crystal Ball Skull. Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
It does actually look really awesome. And I'll tell you right now, filmmakers out there, if any of you instantly want to sell some of your horror films, make them Christmas themed, because there's people out there like Moodz who will buy any single Christmas themed horror film that comes out.
I really, really do. I love Christmas themed horror
Me
films.
too.
Next up here, we got a film called The Moodz. And I don't think this is...
It looks slightly ghostly. It
Jason
could be
Mewes.
Alien abduction, though.
I know. I was going to say, this one doesn't have Jason Mewes in it. I don't know who it's released by. It says 1-800-PRIME CD again, so we all know that's not real.
Yeah, not real.
But it does kind of look ghostly a little bit, so... I don't know. Looks all right.
The reviews on Amazon are good.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy. And then I think that's pretty much it for what I've got here. I know that there's this Tuesday, Nymphomaniac, the director's cut is coming out this Tuesday if anyone's interested in that. Yeah, what does it have? An extra 90 minutes?
Yeah, it's 5.5 hours.
It's an extra whole film added to it.
It's an extra whole film. It's fucking crazy.
More dick and vagina.
Nice.
And
you know what? That is going to do it for the releases unless JP, well, you probably don't have any more, do you?
No, we found out before the show that I didn't. But, something that is happening is by the next time I'm here, Black Friday will have happened, and hopefully I will have a bunch of new stuff to add to my collection.
Nice.
I don't think so. This Black Friday seems pretty shitty.
It does. Remember last year with like Fox Connect and like all those different sales we was hitting up, man? It was dope.
Fox Connect was pretty dope.
I didn't get anything.
So Hastings doesn't have any good sales this year?
They have 40% off $40 or more. That's about it.
But I thought that sale is only if you do that, then they'll send you a coupon code to use 40% off or more like later, or 40% off later.
Well, that sounds like shit. That does not sound very cool.
Yeah, not at all.
Alrighty, so moving along with Mood Swings here, we're going to get into the Q&A portion of the show. We're going to start off this portion with, or this segment with a voicemail that was sent to us. JP?
Hey guys, this is Brandon calling from the Facebook page. Love the podcast. Keep up the great work. Hopefully you're getting this message. Top 5 list for you guys this week. How about top 5 unsettling films? And the way I comprised my list was I went through my personal list of movies that I loved, but I do not own and do not want to own because I will probably never watch again because they bother me that much. So let's start with a recent film, number 5, 2013's The Den. Very unsettling film, loved it. The ending is just highly disturbing and really just left a bad feeling with me. Definitely something I could see being on the news one day. Number 4, Red, White, and Blue from 2010. This one's about a HIV-infected woman who decides to infect as many men as possible, and the repercussions it has when she infects a military man and a man taking care of his dying mother. Very, very unsettling. Number 3, Eden Lake. Even though this stars Michael Fassbender and Kelly Riley, I believe it is, 2 well-known stars, still one of those endings where it just pissed me off. I really wanted to just get in there, and it just stuck with me for a long time. Number 2, Funny Games. Really, any Michael Haneke film is unsettling, but this one by far is just not an easy watch. And number 1, 1983 made-for-TV movie called The Day After, about a fictional account of what a nuclear holocaust would do to a small town in eastern Kansas, and just depressing from start to finish, and this movie really messed me up as a child. So, yeah, that's my top 5 list. Interested to hear what you guys have to say. Hopefully, you've seen some of these films and comment on them. I'm sure you have. Looking forward to it. Keep up the good work, guys. Take care.
Okay, so that was a voicemail from Brandon. First of all, I gotta say, thank you for the voicemail. I would love to see you guys send voicemails similar to that one. Ask us a question, something like that. Thought that one was
really awesome
well put
voicemail.
together. Yeah, I was really happy when I heard that. I heard it at work, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. But Brandon wants to know our top 5. What word did he use?
Top 5 films.
Unsettling.
Unsettling. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was disturbing or unsettling.
Yeah,
kind of
same
similar
thing.
words. Yeah.
Same thing.
But he listed off some great ones. The Den. That's a good choice. You know, that's a newer one. And the more I think about it, it definitely did kind of get under my skin a little bit, especially the end. And we've talked about that a few times on this show.
Yeah, like, you know, when he brought it up, I was just like, it got me thinking about it again, because when I first watched The Den, I even mentioned on the cast that it stuck with me like all week. I kept thinking about that ending.
Yeah.
It's very unsettling because it's just so brutal, man.
Yeah.
You're like, oh God.
Even last week at dinner, I was like, somebody brought that movie up. I was like, that's fucking crazy. Like, a non-horror fan was talking about it, how they watched it on Netflix, and how they thought it was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's cool? That's a movie that did really well on Netflix, apparently. And, you know, awesome that the director, you know, hopefully gets some deals off of this, because like I said, I enjoyed it. But some people at work were even talking about that film. I only gave it a 7 out of 10, but Moodz came in high with an 8.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I actually had a buddy. He asked me about a month ago. I think it was roughly a month ago. He asked me to recommend him some films that were on Netflix. And I said, you know, check out The Den. I know that's on there. And he got back to me right away, and he's like, dude, that movie was fucking awesome. So, and he's not really the hugest like horror fan. So, you know, it just goes to show that, you know, those type of movies do have a pretty broad audience, you know, appeal. So.
Also, he mentioned Red, White, and Blue, which is another IFC Midnight, and I've never seen that one, but you guys say it's pretty awesome, eh?
I haven't seen it. It's one I actually still need.
Fuck, man, that movie is brutal, man. That's all I gotta say. Like I said, that's a really good choice. Brandon, awesome flick, man. And when you watch it, you'll understand why he has it on his list.
And you know what?
It's
when
nasty.
he was describing it, I was thinking of like kids, and I was like, you know, just the basic, simple concept.
Yeah.
It's so fucking scary, you know, just, you know, the whole AIDS thing and just infecting people on purpose. Oh, fuck, man.
Yeah, that sounds fucked up.
It's fucked, man.
That's some definitely dark subject matter. But instantly, when I was listening to that voicemail at work, I was like, I'm about to buy this right now. I didn't have a chance to check the pricing on that one, but Jeremy, I figure you would know.
It's a semi-easy one to find. You're probably going to end up paying around $8 plus shipping for it.
I'm good with that. I'm gonna buy that one purely off of Brandon's recommendation there, because sounds pretty damn awesome.
If you want to wait, there's one left on Second Spin. That's $5.95.
Oh wow!
Fuck, there's one on Second Spin.
There's one left.
I missed that.
I'm waiting for the sale to fucking buy it.
Damn,
I'm waiting.
I just did like a little order. I ordered about 7 or 8 things, and I missed that.
Is there a sale on Second Spin?
No.
Oh.
Not right now.
Then he mentioned Eden Lake, which was actually one of my pick of the week way back in episode 3. I gave that one a 9 out of 10. I was blown away by that film. That one was an awesome one.
Episode 3. Holy shit, man.
Okay, so then he says Funny Games, and the last one, which was The Day After. This is a TV movie that sounds absolutely disturbing and depressing. I gotta see this film somehow. I've actually heard about this one before. It seemed like one of those films that are often bootlegged.
Yeah, I don't think it has a regular release, so
yeah,
I gotta check this out. I've heard of it too, and it's pretty interesting though to have like your most unsettling flick. You know, it was a TV film. That's pretty interesting. You know, having a TV film in your one, that's very interesting. So
yeah.
Really makes me want to see that now. So.
Yeah. So you guys want to hop into your lists?
Show.
Yeah, sure.
I can go. Top 5 unsettling films, and there's quite a bit out there. You know, I pick these ones for, I guess, I'm obviously that they're unsettling, but it's basically the first ones that came to my mind. Don't Deliver Us from Evil. from 1971. I talked about this one on. I'm sure JP knows what episode. He's ringing off.
I actually do.
Like he
it's
actually knows.
Episode 25. You rated it an 8 out of 10.
You're on top of your shit, fool.
Damn, that is amazing. But yeah, if you want to hear more about that film, go to that episode. And Don't Deliver Us From Evil. It's nasty. Next one up here, number 4 is Irreversible. Everyone knows about this movie. It's just
Is that a Criterion?
No. No. It should be a Criterion though. That would be fucking amazing. Irreversible is a really fucked up film, but it's just the rape scene in that film is just so unnerving.
That's
to watch.
why I heard of it before that.
I know it's a fucked up thing to say, but it's definitely the best rape film this decade so far, or this century.
The structure of that movie is fantastic.
It's amazing.
It's basically
it's a beautifully shot film too.
Oh, I gotta check this out.
It's really good, good.
It's a really good film.
But for the people out there that don't know, it is a French film, so you're gonna have to read it. Speaking of French films, number 3 here we got Martyrs. The first time I watched Martyrs, I was like, "Fuck, this movie's so hard to watch, man."
Really?
I don't know.
I find that film disturbing, man.
Really, I just I find it grits on me, man, when I watch it, and it's unnerving, and it's like, I don't know. There's something about it. It's a good movie. I just can't watch that movie over and over again. It's just it feels like it's a marathon every time I'm watching that movie.
See, I find it interesting. Mm-hmm. It's broken up into 3 parts, so it's like
really totally.
We still want to do our Fab 5 show one day, maybe.
It's got a really cool structure to that film.
Yeah,
really cool
got a day on my paper too.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Number 2, which Brandon had in his list, which was Eden Lake. Enough said, man. The movie's fucked up. Yeah. It's awesome.
It's a great movie.
The ending just blows my fucking mind. It's just nasty.
Mm-hmm. Eden Lake is one of those films that I go to for recommendations. When somebody's like, "Ah, man, what's really good to watch that I haven't seen?" Eden Lake. That's my go-to recommendation for everybody.
You know what mine is?
What?
Oddly enough, it's Gutterballs.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah?
I always tell people to watch Gutterballs.
Yep.
Because I'm like, if you can get through Gutterballs and you really like it, you're going to love all these other movies I'm going to recommend.
It's like your test run when you meet new people, huh?
Oh, yeah, totally.
We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah. And number 1 is, of course, I've mentioned this many, many times, and that is The Girl Next Door.
Brutal.
Setting. Yeah. The setting in that movie just disturbs the shit out of me, man. Mm-hmm. White picket fences and every, all American family. Fuck.
It's a facade.
Yeah. So.
I guess I'll go next.
I'm gonna go last.
So my number 5 is these aren't necessarily in order. Towards the bottom of the list, it's more in order. The Human Centipede. Honestly, I know, Jeremy, you think it's overrated and stuff, but this one actually really, really made me unsettled when I first watched it. I watched it with a friend, and I knew nothing about it. It really got to me. And I will say, as time went on and I revisited it, it has a less of an effect on me. But that first time, man, I remember that night very clearly. What are you guys laughing at?
Just ass to mouth, man.
Yeah.
Just wait till the new one, 600-person centipede.
I still think my favorite part in that movie though is when the Asian guy, the head on the centipede, he kind of looks behind him and he's like, "I'm so sorry." And then he shits.
That's what was the most disturbing part for me, the most unsettling
so
or whatever.
Gross.
I'm telling you, man, like that. I thought that thing was so effective.
I thought the second one's a lot grosser than the first one.
See, that's the thing I didn't like about the second one though, is because the first one to me wasn't about being gross. It was just about being. It wasn't like.
It was more about the idea, the diabolical doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second one to me seemed like more over the top-ish. I don't know. I haven't seen. I need to give that one a second shot. But anyway, number 4 is Bedeviled. I believe this was a South Korean film. Man, this one's really messed up. I had a hard time watching it. It was depressing as hell to me. So yeah, I don't know if I'll ever revisit Bedeviled.
It's just like a fucking revenge film, really.
Yeah, but
I love that though. It's a good film. That's a good pick.
Yeah. Number 3. This might not be horror, but man, when I first seen this as a youngster, it really got to me, and that is Deliverance.
Nice.
Number 2,
rape revenge film.
Yeah. Number 2 is the original I Spit on Your Grave, and the other week I I kind of called Jeremy's classmates pussies for walking out on this film, but you know what, man, it is some intense stuff. And the thing is, I wasn't really talking about them walking out. Obviously, you know, it's not for everybody, and some people legitimately don't want to be around it. But my thing was, they were complaining and up in arms about it. It's like, just go away from it if you don't want to see it or whatever, you know? But yeah, and my number one is the same as Moodz, Girl Next Door. By far the most... probably the most intense feeling I've ever got watching anything so far.
Me too.
Just all different kinds of emotions running through my head. I've still only watched that film once. I don't even know if I could handle to watch it again. I would be curious to know if Brandon has seen The Girl Next Door.
Yeah.
Because if that didn't make his list, then I have a feeling he didn't see it.
Yeah, it is. It's a pretty tough one to leave off. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I will say the Snowtown Murders was pretty unsettling, but I don't really like the movie.
Hate that film. Absolutely hate that film.
That movie is so fucking overrated. Yeah, I remember all the hype and everyone's like, the Snowtown Murders is fucking awesome, so I checked it out. And I thought I was actually fucking bored.
Yeah, I hate
Wasn't it unsettling a little bit, though?
Yeah, it was so long and boring.
I mean, the part when, you know, the brother rapes his younger brother, whatever. I mean, there's parts that are, it's like, but... You know, it has to have a little more substance. It's just
everything else is just them eating.
Yeah, yeah. I remember you mentioned that on my review back on episode 6.
Yeah.
I don't really like the Snowtown Murders, but I thought it was pretty unsettling. And go ahead, Jeremy. What's your list?
Okay, number 5. I have a film called Trust. It's not really a horror film, but it stars Clive Owen, and it's about this girl who gets kidnapped and raped by an online predator online. It's pretty hard to watch, and
it sounds
like
terrible.
Clive Owen as a father trying to recap and find the guy that, you know, did this to his daughter. It's a pretty hard film to watch, and it's not too much horror, but it was a hard one. Number 4. I have Enter the Void, a really weird movie, and another one that's, if you don't know Gaspar Noé and his style of filmmaking, it's probably not for you. But if you liked the uncomfortableness of Irreversible and I Stand Alone, which I hate that film, I think you will like Enter the Void. Number 3, I have The Divide. It's a really depressing fucking post-apocalyptic film about 7 people who have to take shelter in this basement, and the whole film takes place in this basement downstairs in this apartment building, and it's just them losing their minds, and it's just a really unsettling. And
so it's one of those contained horror films.
Yeah. It made me squirm for sure. I didn't know if to put this in number 2 or 3, but I just put it at 3. Number 2, I have Compliance. I talked about this one, I think, maybe on the podcast. It's a true story. I learned in psychology class and a whole bunch of other things. It's a very simple premise, but it's definitely
it's executed perfectly.
It's really executed well, and it's definitely a squirm fest.
It's actually unbelievable when you're watching. I found myself getting so mad. I was like, oh my God, how does this fucking happen?
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's just like you're shaking your head like throughout the whole movie going, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's
a good one.
And number 1, of course, The Girl Next Door.
It's impossible for it not to be if you've seen it.
Yep. That shows the testament of the film, man.
You know how sometimes when like a new film comes out and everybody's like, it's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. Like turns out, like that one actually was that film. You know what I mean?
So, JP, you said you've only watched it once?
Yeah.
Jeremy, how many times have you watched The Girl Next Door?
Okay. That's all it takes, bud.
There's something seriously wrong with me then.
Yes, there is.
Because I've watched that movie like 3 or 4 times.
Way back on Burial Grounds, we was going to do an episode called Are They Disturbing? And we had Girl Next Door, Martyrs, I believe it was Inside, and another film that I can't remember. Maybe it was The Human Centipede. But that was that, I was going to watch it again, like, like
remember
not really
that.
wanting to,
Yeah.
but I was going to be forced to watch it again. It's one of those films that I look in my collection when I, look down my shelves, and I'm like, I give it like just this look, and I'm like, I'm probably never going to watch you again.
Yeah.
But you're in there still, like you're still in my collection. I don't know why I still have you, because I don't think I'm going to put you in anytime soon.
Nice.
Yeah. Great question, by the way, and great voicemail. Thank you a lot. And, now that you called in, we expect you to call in every week. So sorry. That
big ups to Brandon. That was awesome.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, buddy.
Yes. So, I want to get into some regular questions, non-voicemail related. All right. So, let's see. Where should we start? Let's start off with Andrew French. He says... let's see here. If you could choose one horror movie from the 80s to get a sequel, not a remake, to be made today, what would it be? Jeremy.
The Burning. I would love to see a sequel to The Burning. It never happened, but I thought it could be a fun franchise to make a sequel to, for sure. Even though it's Friday the 13th ripoff before Friday the 13th came out, but
it's not before Friday the 13th.
What?
The Burning?
The Burning came out a year after.
A year after? All right. Well, it would be fun to see a sequel to The Burning. Shows you how much I know about my horror history.
Yeah, because Tom Savini didn't do Friday the 13th Part 2 because he did The Burning.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I put simply, and it's not only because I just actually reviewed this film the other day, but...
Is it The Blob?
The Blob.
Yeah.
I thought of The Blob too, man.
I always wondered why they never made a sequel to that movie. Because it sets it up perfectly for a sequel, and that movie's fucking brilliant. Why not have a sequel to it? I don't know. Yeah. I just want more Blob. I mean, a selfish bastard, but I love the Blob remake. So good.
See, I thought about doing the Blob too, but he said in the question to be made today.
That's
and I
fine.
don't want to see a Blob today because I know it'll be CGI heavy.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Yeah. So I couldn't really think of, there were a few different ones. There was some that were had sequels and stuff, so I kind of stayed away from those ones. I decided to go with one, and then I changed it because of a reason. But I picked The Thing at first. But I changed it because then I was like, wow, wait a minute. There was a prequel to The Thing that just came out like a few years back that I totally forgot about. Yeah. So I still would love to see Carpenter's original idea for A Thing 2, though, which he wanted to do. So I decided to go with another Carpenter film, and that's Christine. I want to see a sequel to Christine today.
Mm-hmm. I've seen The Car in person.
Yeah.
Like the real Christine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So yeah, that's what I picked. I think that would be pretty cool to see. I would actually like to see a prequel to Christine, though. I think there's a story there.
At least you know your horror history, unlike me.
It happens to the best of us.
Yes.
So next up we have one from Derek. And he said he was wondering if we knew any good horror films from the year 1986, the year he was born. He wants to check out. Hell yeah.
Yeah, there's so many. Chopping Mall.
86 is a great year, man.
Chopping Mall.
Critters.
Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Neon Maniacs. Witchboard. You'll Die at Midnight. There's
in all serious though, if I want to just give like a few recommendations that I say definitely see if you haven't. 1, The Fly. You have to see The Fly if you've never seen it. 2, this is one that is a little underseen in my opinion. It's House. I love House. The original House, man, that stuff is dope. Check out House. Night of the Creeps is another one that's being seen more, but it was definitely underseen. And then the last one I'll go with is The Hitcher, man. Hitcher's classic shit, dude. Check out The Hitcher.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite movies, Trauma Classic, Class of Nukem High. Fuck, you gotta check out that shit. Did Slaughter High get said?
Nope.
Slaughter High.
I'll second Slaughter High. There's some great kills in that one.
I can't recommend Terror Vision enough from 86. So fucking good. Zombie Nightmare. And of course, one film that I talk about all the fucking time is Killer Party. Killer Party from 1986 is fantastic. April Fool's Day. That's another really good one. Can't forget about Stuart Gordon's From Beyond. And, I don't know, Trick or Treat?
Yeah.
Troll? Friday 6. Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw 2. That's my
Texas
favorite one from the year, probably.
That's right. Yeah, all great stuff.
Yeah.
Wes Craven's Deadly Friend.
Man, it's depressing when you look at the 80s, because it's just like, there was so many good ones there.
Oh, really? 86 actually is a good year, man.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
tons of good stuff that year. Yeah. But, definitely The Fly. Like JP said, man, that's something that, you just can't pass over. It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So many heavy hitters from that year.
Even Aliens.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at, like, you got quality like The Fly and The Hitcher. You got cheese like House and Night of the Creeps. Then you got, like, extra cheesy like Chopping Mall and shit, dude. It's just, oh, man, it's so great. I'm just, like, smiling as I look at these titles. So next up, Dylan asks us, do you guys have a favorite horror movie that plays off of your personal fears? Example, say you have a fear of spiders, arachnophobia, or big ass spider. I love how he titled that too. etc. Could be your favorite movie of that type. So yeah, I thought this was a great question. Jeremy?
Not really. Nothing.
You don't have any fears?
Fucking serious? I thought you said you were scared of flying.
Well,
that's Moodz.
I guess I'm afraid of flying.
I'm not scared of flying.
But I'll watch flying. I'll watch like Altitude. It's not like.
I like Altitude.
Yeah.
I would have to say
Heights. Moodz hates heights. I would assume it would have to be Heights.
I know, that's probably my biggest fear. But I was thinking, I'm like, man, what kind of movies deal with heights and for horror flicks and stuff? So then I went with my other
Vertigo, man.
Yeah, Vertigo.
Not really a horror film.
It's more of a thriller. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the obvious choice for me was my fear of clowns. I hate clowns, man.
You won't like my new movie then.
Man, dude, I don't know what it is about it's the fucking painted on smile that drives me nuts. It's just so fucking creepy.
Look at that, dude. That's a callback. The painted on smile is very similar to the painted on smile of the 50s in The Girl Next Door, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So for the a film that deals with clowns and stuff, I had to put Stitches, even though it's horror comedy. But
I don't know how you didn't go with It.
Yeah, it's scarier than Stitches.
It is the scariest clown movie ever made, and it's crazy to me that they often don't try to scare with clown movies when It done it so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of bad ones, so I think that's the thing. It really does stick up there. But Stitches was just the first one that came to my mind. Or I have to say 100 Tears. It's fantastic. So.
All right. So I went with. I had to actually do a little research and find out what the hell this would be called, but it's like clithrophobia. It's also similar to claustrophobia, but it's a bit different. It's the fear of being trapped, and contained, confined, isolation, survival horror. All these kind of fit in that, and that is the one that kind of does play on my fears a little bit.
You wouldn't like this fight then.
I don't want to be trapped somewhere, and but I also am very intrigued by it at the same time. But those are the type of films that play on my. I guess the closest thing that I would have to a phobia would be clithrophobia, which is stuff like being trapped. Examples: Frozen. That is one of my go-tos. Cube, The Mist, The Thing, Hunger, Descent, Saw. All of these kind of fall into that contained horror or isolation horror or confined horror, whatever you want to call it. I like contained. That's the one I'm going to roll with. But that kind of just gets under my skin. I always wanted to see Buried, but I'm a little bit too intimidated.
Oh yeah, Buried's a rough one. If you don't
I'm
like
not
that
really
stuff.
Claustrophobic. It's more about being trapped. So
yeah.
But that would be scary as hell too. So
yeah, you wouldn't like The Defied then.
Yeah,
that I just talked about. It's pretty.
Well, I'm definitely gonna check it out then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that question. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Zach,
that was awesome.
Zach asks us, What are you guys' top 5 IFC Midnight recommendations for someone that doesn't own many of them?
Oh, that's a hard question.
I figure I'll go first on this one since I really don't own many of them either. I've just recently started picking them up. So I'm going to go with 5 in no order, and they're probably ones that you're pretty familiar with, Zach. The Den, that's one that we talked about a lot. We definitely recommend that. Dead Snow, you've probably seen that one, but that's one that I actually watch a lot. Human Centipede, probably seen that. Proxy is probably the newest one that I would definitely recommend. That one's fantastic. And of course, Maniac for me.
Yeah. This was a really, really hard one. I was just kind of looking at the films and I was going, wow, I could recommend, just tons of these, but ones that I just came up with was Grabbers. Talked about this on the cast.
Yeah.
Grabbers is so much fun, man. I would have to recommend Antiviral. I know JP isn't the biggest fan of it.
I had that on the
list. I gave it a 7
out
of 10.
I had that on my list. I took it off because I figured we already talked about that one.
On episode 2, actually.
Antiviral. JP brought up Proxy because that's like the newest one that I've watched that I really, really dug. Thought it was fantastic. Byzantium, probably one of my favorite vampire films of the last, the new millennium. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Maniac 2. Not Maniac 2, Maniac also. The remake, it's just, I don't know how you couldn't recommend someone pick that up because it's an IFC release.
That was fantastic. Both of our number 1 films of last year.
Oh, shit, here we go.
It was, though. I believe we both came in at about 9.5s on that as well.
My turn?
Yeah, you're the next one to go, man.
Well, I didn't know it was my turn.
Well, should I go next?
Fuck you, JP. I was just asking if Moodz was done, you asshole. Considering I have so many, it's hard to pick 5 that I would recommend that are my favorites. So I just picked 5 that I really like that you don't see people talk about too often. Number 5 is probably the most well-known one, Would You Rather. It's an awesome film with Jeffrey Combs, who's a badass in it. Highly recommend it. It's awesome.
Yeah, he destroys that role, man. Yeah. He's awesome.
Number 4, I have an Australian film titled Coffin Rock. This is a really awesome film. I highly recommend it. It's kind of hard to talk about without giving too much away, but check it out. It's really good. It's one of the older ones, but highly recommend it. Number 3, I have In Their Skin. Awesome home invasion film. I talked about it a few episodes ago when we were talking about home invasion films. Awesome, fresh look at the home invasion subgenre that seems to be oversaturated right now. Number 2, Black Haven. This is not one people talk about too often, but I talk about this quite frequently when people ask me about what IFCs I recommend the most, and this is definitely one I would check out. It's about like this guy and his girlfriend who finds this couple who is trying to commit suicide at the side of the road, and the guy succeeds, and the girl's still alive, and the main guy finds out that she's part of the society online that glorifies suicide and things like that. It's a really interesting film. I recommend it. And number 1, I have Exam. I talked about this one also. JP, if you know what episode. It's awesome.
You talked about Exam on episode on episode number 2. You gave it an 8 out of 10.
Thank you, young squire. It's awesome. It's basically a one-place type of a film. Takes place in one setting, but I highly recommend Exam, so check it out. And of course, there's about 150 other ones, but those are the top 5 that I would recommend.
Yeah, I totally expected Jeremy to come in and be like, well, I narrowed it down to 50.
Yeah. I could easily have like 20 if I wanted to. Like a Basazium, or I could easily have on. Yeah, could easily have that one on there. I could easily have Antiviral, Maniac, ATM at like the low end.
Dead Hooker?
Dead Hooker on the trunk. The Den. Grabbers, Haunter. There's so many solid ones that aren't shitty. So,
There definitely is.
Those are 5 unknown ones that people don't really talk about too often.
All right, so this next question is from John, and this one I'm actually not going to answer, guys, because like I said, I don't have enough reference material right now. But he says, what are your top 5 Blu-rays you own, not just the movie, but the whole package, like features and artwork? So he's basically saying like what edition do you care for the most, not just because of the movie?
Yeah.
This was hard too, but I think I was able to do it.
Yeah, this was pretty hard. I just, came up with a list pretty quick. But number 5 is the Father's Day 4-disc limited
I have
edition.
that on my list too.
It's a fantastic edition. Yeah, it's got the soundtrack and everything. It's just great packaging, awesome stuff. Number 4 is the Return of the Living Dead Steelbook from the UK. It comes with the art on it is just fantastic, but it also comes with More Brains. The documentary's on there, but it's in high def too, which is really cool. And then we got number 3, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 edition from Arrow. It's just ridiculous that movie got that type of treatment. It's just absolutely blows the fucking, the shitty release that's in Region 1 here away. It's so awesome. Comes with Tobe Hooper's first couple films on it too. Number 2, I kind of cheated here like I always do in these lists, but I put the Demons Steelbooks 1 and 2. They're both beautiful, fucking amazing from Synapse.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you cheat on that one because those two do really go well together.
Mm-hmm. And number 1 is my favorite.
Can I guess?
Piece in my entire collection now. Yeah, go ahead.
The Possession?
Yeah.
Possession?
The Mondo Vision Possession Blu-ray set is fucking, but it's just phenomenal. They just outdid themselves with this. It's so crazy nice. Like, they put so much effort into it. Oh, I'm just so happy I got one of them. but yeah, I highly recommend that. So
me next? Well, I guess so. I'm the only fucking one. I said it again.
Oh man, I'm delirious right now.
Number 5, I have the Phantom Carriage Criterion release. Awesome booklet and information. I've talked about that film to death lately. Favorite film ever, pretty much. Number 4, I have a film from 1915 and 1916. It's broken up into 6 parts, or 9 parts actually. It's called Les Vampires. It's of course it's a silent film from France, and it's put out by Kino. And it comes with a nice booklet and slipcase. 6.5 hours long, so you definitely need some time to watch it. But if you guys get a chance to sit down and pick up that edition put out by Kino, it's a really interesting, extremely early horror serial from 1915. Number 3, Evil Dead 2 Book of the Dead edition. If you could actually find one in good shape that's not shredded to shit, just a really cool edition of Evil Dead 2 put out by Anchor Bay. Number 2, I have the Father's Day set that Moodz just talked about. That film's awesome. I love that film. And number 1, Eyes Without a Face, released by Criterion. Another awesome Criterion release and a pretty masterpiece quality film that I highly recommend everybody sees if they get a chance, because it's a really beautifully lit and shot film. So if you guys have not seen Eyes Without a Face and you have one film to buy during this Criterion sale, that is one to pick up because it's truly amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome,
Nice.
awesome. Next up, Joey asks us, this is an interesting question. He said, if you had to pick one series to never exist, gun to your head, which one would you pick? Halloween, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or Nightmare on Elm Street?
So we actually had to pick one of those 4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I picked Texas Chainsaw. Sorry, JP. Sorry. I like all the other ones too much.
Man, that is a really, really hard question, man. Well, it obviously can't be Nightmare on Elm Street for me because it's my favorite franchise. Mm-hmm. This is really fucking hard. I would have to go with TCM also.
Yes.
Oh my god, guys, you guys are killing me.
Well, we don't want to watch Texas Chainsaw 3D again, JP.
Why?
I love I don't know, man. Like, as a franchise whole, like, I would just prefer to watch the other three.
Yeah, me too.
They're
not
excluding,
bad.
obviously,
Part
CM
4
itself.
Yeah.
You know, it's an amazing film, but as a whole franchise, I think I would prefer, if I, gun to my head, I would take the other three.
Yeah, so, I kind of thought about this question, like, more than we probably should have, but, so I was thinking of it like, okay, if Halloween never existed, then Friday the 13th might never exist, right? So I was like, do I pick Halloween? Because, like, then it would, like, one of the, most influential slashers of all time would be gone. And then TCM, it's like, well, the best horror film of all time would be gone. And then Elm Street, it's like, well, one of the most iconic killers of all time would be gone. So I was, like, really frustrated with this question. Gun to my head, I'm going to go Halloween. I just have a disconnect with that franchise over the other three. It is growing on me over the years, and I do really, we just talked about those films to death, but the original was such a classic. But, man, I just love the Friday the 13th series, the Elm Street series, and Chainsaw Man 1 and 2, I couldn't live without. So I'm going to go with Halloween.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right, and the last question here is from Paul Henderson, and he asked each of us a separate question. He wants to know Moodz' top 5 giallos made after 1990.
Oh, that's hard.
He wants to ask me what my top 5 favorite hillbilly horror is, because I mentioned those hillbilly horrors 2 weeks back. And then Jeremy, top 5 art house horror films.
Does that just sound like a great show title? Hey, we're doing a whole episode on hillbilly horror.
Yeah, boy.
that actually might get written down. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. So who wants to go first?
Me?
Yeah, I'll go. I kind of cheated on this list a little bit. Like, giallos after 1990 are pretty scarce. It's pretty rare, and even to find good ones too, it's pretty rare. But there's one movie here on my list I haven't seen yet. That's why I'm kind of cheating. But it's a movie that's been recommended to me over and over again. I just haven't been able to find a copy or whatever. I just haven't gotten around to it or whatever. But it's pretty new. I think it's from 2011 or 12, and it's a film called Yellow. Have you heard of this one, Jeremy?
Yeah,
no.
I have.
Okay, yeah, but I've been recommended it by lots of people, and they're like, yeah, you'd really like it, so I'm assuming it's really good. So I'm kind of cheating here. Number 4, this one is kind of semi giallo-ish. Like, Jeremy knows exactly what I'm talking about, but it's Emir.
Yeah.
Emir. It has those type of elements. It's really weird. It's more
only
artsy,
the last section of it, but
yeah, but it's really artsy. But I do really highly recommend that film. It's really good.
Didn't y'all just talk about that film?
Last 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Episode 31.
Yeah, 8.5 from both ends.
Number 3 here is Lamberto Bava's film from 1993. It's called Body Puzzle. Pretty interesting giallo that's been released by Raro Video on DVD. A very, very underrated film, actually. No one ever talks about that movie. Number 2, it was Dario Argento's Sleepless. I'm a really big fan of this movie. I know it kind of gets mixed opinions from people. And
you don't have Argento's Giallo in there? Come on, man. That's a masterpiece.
God.
Oh, fuck, that film's terrible.
That movie is bad. And number 1 is the film, I believe this is a German film, and it's called Tulpa. It's really, really fucking good. So, and it's spelled Tulpa. I believe Diabolic DVD has editions of this. It's really expensive though. It's really hard to find, but check it out. It's awesome. Really good film.
Awesome.
But yeah, I got to say that was a really hard question, man. Top 5 giallos after 1990. I was like, oh, shit, how am I going to do this? Yeah, but I hope that helps.
I guess I'll go. Top 5 hillbilly horror. I kind of went with the whole backwoods in general. Hillbilly, backwoods, sort of similar. Number 5, I go with Hills Have Eyes, and I cheated. I went with the original and the remake, because god damn it, those things are awesome.
Yeah, they're good.
Number 4, I Spit on Your Grave. Those are as hillbilly as they get.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3, House of a Thousand Corpses, I think kind of fits in that one, hey?
Yeah, I guess so.
Number 2, Wrong Turn. And I think Wrong Turn is actually the best example of, hillbilly horror. And number 1, of course, is Texas Chainsaw 1 and 2.
Nice. So, my question was top 5 art house films. I watch a lot of these. So I just went down my collection and I tried to pick or think of ones that I've watched. So, number 5, I have Trouble Every Day, directed by Claire Denis. Awesome film that doesn't really get talked about too much, but it's really an awesome film.
That's the French one, right?
Yeah.
Man, I need to get that movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Number 4, Bergman's Hour of the Wolf. Awesome Bergman film. If you guys don't know who Bergman is, then you probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast or like movies at all, because he's probably one of the most influential directors who has ever lived on this planet.
Seven Seal.
Yeah. Number 3, Amir, like Moodz just said, awesome art housey type of film. Number 2, Herzog's Nosferatu, the Vampire. Awesome remake. It's just fantastic. I highly recommend that. I really want to get that Scream Factory Blu-ray.
I don't know why you didn't grab it when it was, like $10.
Yeah. And number 1, Eyes Without a Face from 1960 that I just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
The film is a masterpiece. Definitely considered maybe the top 10 films that one of the best top 10 films I've ever seen. So 1960, a very fantastic year for the horror genre in general, with Psycho, Peeping Tom, and Eyes Without a Face all coming out in the year 1960. So a huge turning point for the horror genre in general, starting out the 60s. So like I said, if you guys haven't seen Eyes Without a Face, it comes with my highest recommendation. So check it out.
It's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Great.
Q?
A lot of questions this week. Keep them coming.
Yeah, it was a lot of questions this week, actually. Yeah. All right, so that was the last question, though?
Yes, I believe so. Oh, actually, we did have a cool little email that we got that I forgot about. So a few weeks back, multiple shows actually, you guys talked about Worm, which didn't, I believe, like Synapse put that out?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so...
You would know that if you watch my video.
Yeah.
Review coming to the website very soon.
Awesome. So the director of Worm, he says, "Hey there, fellas. I'm the director of Worm." He said, "I caught the video of Moodz's on YouTube, the collection of the Synapse films. He was really surprised and really happy to see that our film was part of your massive collection. Not only that, but you actually seem to like the damn thing. That led me to your podcast, 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror, which I'm loving." That just sounds awesome when someone says that.
Yeah, I know.
I spend a lot of
Capitalized.
I spend a lot of time sitting behind a computer, so it's always a good way. It's always good to find a new horror podcast, especially one that really digs deep into the genre. I just want to give a personal thanks for taking the time to talk in length about our little film that I never really expected anyone to watch in the first place, let alone actually enjoy. So you've got a new fan in me, and seriously, if you're ever in LA, hit me up. I'll buy you guys some beers and we can shoot the shit about 80s sleaze. Thanks again, guys. Doug. What an awesome email, right?
Yeah. Doug, I love your film. I'm writing a pretty interesting review on the film as we speak right now, and I have a pretty good chunk of it finished. So I think you are going to enjoy what I have to say about your film, even though you're probably thinking, why the hell is this guy writing about my film like he is? But I love the film. And even though you probably didn't mean to have hidden messages in there, I definitely read it like that. So I shall be posting that soon. So I hope you enjoy that when I get that up there.
On that note of, directors contacting us, actually, I might as well tell this story too. On Thursday, I was at work and I was just in between my flights and I was on my computer, and all of a sudden I got this friend request from this person named Kelly Fitzgerald.
Oh,
Of course I accepted it, and I'm just like, whatever. And then instantly she started talking to me. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And then it turns out, I didn't recognize the name at first, but it turns out that she is the director of Mutantis, the film that we just recently reviewed. Of course, I liked the movie. Jeremy did not care for it. And JP ripped it a new fucking asshole.
That I did.
But she basically thanked me for the honest reviews, and she's like, well, you know, the type of movie it is, it's not for everybody. Some people are gonna have, you know, a lot of problems with it, JP, and others are gonna enjoy it. And she really enjoyed it, and she just said, hey, I'm a big fan of the podcast, and just wanted to, you know, congratulate us on, you know, our success and stuff, and if you want to call it success. But she was really awesome about it. You know, she took it with a, you know,
I've learned this week, or these last few weeks working on films, it's really fucking hard to make a film. Like, I would not be giving these people as much shit as I do, because now that I've actually, like, done it, it's fucking hard. And it's even holding a boom mic, it's fucking hard as shit. And if you're not, like, have any muscles at all, you're gonna have a hard time, because just holding up that mic in the exact position for, you know, even if you have like a short take, it's hard. But imagine like having a 5 or 6 minute long shot. I don't know how people do it. It's fucking hard.
Yeah,
definitely.
But I thought that was amazing, because, you know, I would have expected nothing but like bashing to me, you know.
Oh my god, I'll never forget JP's reaction. I'm like, hey JP, guess who I was just talking to? And he's like, who? And I'm like, Kelly Fitzgerald. And he's like, she's the director of Mutantis, and he literally wrote back, oh god.
Yeah, no. I think that if she bashed JP for not liking her film, then she shouldn't be making films, because you're always going to have people who are going to criticize your shit.
Exactly.
So if you don't like that, and you're going to bitch somebody out for not liking your film, you shouldn't be making movies.
Now, I will say that it is fair to, you know, get mad if somebody's, you know, taking what you're doing and like exaggerating or changing what kind of art you put out or whatever, because I hear Adam Green talk about that all the time, how people will complain about things that aren't even in the film and stuff like that. But, you know, once you make a film and you put it out there for people to see, then it's up for interpretation, it's up for subjection, and you should be okay with people either liking or disliking it. I know it's very personal because you're so attached to it and you put everything you have into it and stuff, but that's just part of the game, right? So I got nothing but respect for the way that she handled that. And, you know, I honestly do think, you know, looking back, like I was a little bit of a prick, you know. I'm really bothered by those type of films. I stand by it. I don't like them. But you know, she handled it pretty awesome, is from what I could tell. And, you know,
she said, she's like, yeah, really good debate.
Yeah, I still don't like the film though. So then she must have saw that I had valid points.
Oh yeah, I mean, everything you said was valid. I mean, it's your honest opinion, right?
Yeah.
What can you do? I mean, that movie is the perfect example of a film that's not for everybody. And that argument was a prime example of what you're going to get with a film like that. So it is what it is, right? You know, it was cool, but I really do respect her a lot. You know, for
that's a tough chick, man. Because I'm not sure I would have even handled it. I know I wouldn't have. I would have been really probably mad if I heard somebody attack my film like I did to hers, because it is very personal. You're very attached to it, and I know that I would have gotten way bent out of shape. I think I would struggle with that part of filmmaking if I was a filmmaker. The rejection and the you know, just people not getting my vision or
well,
my
good thing you're not
thoughts.
A filmmaker.
Yeah,
I mean,
because that's like a main thing that goes with that. So
yeah, but that's with anything, right? I mean, you have to get used to things. Yeah. But you know, then again, maybe not, because I can take people criticizing the show, right? I mean, I don't have a problem with people, but you know, just something as big as that is making a movie.
Cool. All right, so moving along here, getting into the Coroner's Report, courtesy of Rue Morgue magazine, of weird stats and morbid facts. This one is coming from the March 2012 edition of Rue Morgan. It's got Father's Day on the cover, Jeremy.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. This was a short one I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, people wear black to funerals to show respect for the dead. But it's been said that the tradition has roots in superstition, and that wearing black hid mourners from ghosts. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I thought that was a little.
That makes sense to me.
It does,
Often
it does
when you
make
hear
sense.
those like type of things, like where you hear something originate, it's like, yeah, I can totally see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does make sense, doesn't it? Alrighty, so that is going to do it for Mood Swings, and then moving along into the featured
Do we have
reviews.
to? Do we have to?
The 3 featured reviews. This week's featured reviews is the franchise, the trilogy, trilogy of Warlock.
Well, JP, why the fuck did you pick these movies?
Did I pick them?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Moodz picked them.
No.
I did. Well,
This was you. So Warlock from 1989, starring Julian Sands, directed by Steve Miner.
awesome. Who also directed
Friday 2
House, I believe.
and 3.
Did he direct House?
No.
Oh.
I don't think he directed House. But yeah, Warlock from 1989.
In a time of fear and suspicion,
You choose to admit your crimes before man and God?
his coming was foretold. Now, he is here.
You know the signs. You are bewitched.
He has the face of an angel,
Channel me a spirit.
the charm of the devil,
Hear me when I say he's evil. Evil absolute.
and the powers of a god. Satan also has one son.
For you are the first to have laid eyes upon the new Messiah.
Now, an enemy from his past,
Who appointed you executioner?
and a girl from the present.
Do you know what he's capable of?
Next time he's gonna kill me.
I'll not let him harm you.
Are the only hope for the future. This is the terrifying adventure that could set the world on fire. Warlock.
Okay.
I don't
So
know.
in Boston of 1691, a warlock is sentenced to death, but escapes magically into the future, our present.
How?
Although followed by a witch hunter. There he is searching for 3 parts of the Devil's Bible, trailed by the witch hunter and a woman whose house he landed in. They must stop him as the book contains the true name of God, which he can use to uncreate the world if spoken backwards.
by showing his real name. By showing
Oh my
God's
God.
real name.
All right, so
I hated this movie the first half hour. I told JP that.
thoughts on this one, guys? Where do we want to start here?
Well, okay, so this film is kind of time travel-y, right? I mean, it really reminds me of the Terminator in terms of the way it's laid out, right? You have this hero character coming back through time to stop a stronger thing, and he's hooking up with a chick who's dragging along into this situation.
Yeah.
Okay, for people that don't know what a warlock is just it's a male witch.
Yeah.
Unless you
I love
ask one of those people who are consider themselves modern day witches, I guess that's like a derogatory term or something.
Warlock
I remember reading that somewhere.
I love it. You're a witch, but you're a man. Here, it's your turn. Tampa Bay sucks. I love that part when he's talking about Tampa Bay's football team.
And then he fucking kills the kid.
Yeah.
Dude, listen. That scene is creepy as hell.
It's just funny how he says Tampa Bay. I'm not like Tampa Bay. It's just funny.
Yeah.
There's a few references to sports too when the guy says Laker fans suck or something like that. The cab driver when they get to Boston. I love all like that hatred towards sports teams. It's funny.
So I was maybe a tad bit confused on how exactly he got transported.
Yeah, me too.
From 1691 into obviously the present day. Well, how did he transport himself?
He's a fucking magic, dude.
No. Seriously, but they can do that?
He's magic, dude.
You can transport. Yeah, I know, but like seriously, is that like actually a written law with
and you could go from
witches?
And you go from Boston to LA.
You can time travel?
Listen,
you can time travel? Because I didn't realize that was actually something that they could technically do.
How did they do it in Terminator?
Well,
they're not witches.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It just seemed a little odd. You know, it's just all of a sudden he's like time traveling and shit like that. I'm just like,
yeah. And
that's based on his magic, but he's a witch.
No, I'm with you. I agree that like they definitely shy away from that whole. Well, how the hell did he time travel? And it could have, call it bad filmmaking, but it could have been explained with a simple line of dialogue, like. Or a scene where he conjured up some magic spell with a special ingredient or something like that. Yeah,
well, I mean, my whole thing with that though is that like you got the Warlock. He's ready to be basically executed. Why didn't he just travel himself before he got into that predicament?
I think that it had something to do with the way they had him chained with his toes and his fingers like that.
Okay, it was actually like, it was totally making him so he couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, like he can't use his magic powers when he's tied up
undone?
like that.
How did he become undone?
What did he do? I actually forget.
I know he's like at the top of the tower, and then like the guy comes in, he's like, "Oh, you should die," and then he leaves, and then he comes back up and he's gone.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure how he got out of that, to be honest.
Like you had some Chucky shit thunder coming from the sky, and then he was gone. So it's like, well, how did he become unchained?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so some obvious plot holes there, guys.
Quite a bit.
Totally. I gotta say, man, the witch hunter that transports himself to, he fucking looks like John Cusack.
He's my favorite character, though. At least he's a little bit humorous,
Yeah, he was a decent character.
Like when they were getting on the plane, like that's probably like my favorite scene of the film. It's just funny.
That I will say that they did an alright job with the obvious time travel jokes because the guy is obviously unfamiliar with modern technology, so they definitely play that up a bit. And he's like, we'll take your carriage or something.
Stop this carriage.
Yeah, I thought that stuff was funny, but I almost wish they would have shied away from it a little bit because I think they overplayed it. And I feel like this film gets really dark at times, but one thing that was really bugging me was sometimes the score got almost like bumbly or something, like cartoony.
Dude, the score in this movie doesn't work at all. It's way too cartoony and stuff. And I think this movie suffers from not knowing exactly what tone it wants to present itself.
Yeah,
it's like a comedy at one point, and then it's like horror at one point, and then it's drama at another point.
It totally is all over the place, and it's very
bad.
It's frustrating to watch because you're like, I don't know what I'm watching right now.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. Was it meant to be a fucking comedy?
Well, I think that it was meant to be like a horror film, but I feel like whoever wrote it or directed it, probably I'm gonna say the writer. I'm gonna say the writer probably had comedy in his heart, so he kept trying to pepper it in throughout this story. I feel like he probably wanted to write comedies, and he ended up getting a gig writing a horror film. That's what it feels like to me.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I actually really like about this film is it does a fantastic job of setting up a mythology for the character with a lot of key things. Like, they really have a lot of rules and just mythology for the Warlock, like the footprints with the nails and the salting the rope thing. You know,
too bad that all goes down to shitter in Warlock 2, but
yeah, they don't even have fucking rules in part 2, man.
No.
But yeah, I know what you're saying though. The mythology that's set up is kind of cool.
I'm always a big fan of that.
It gives you an idea.
Yeah, I'm always a big fan of when they take the time to really like flesh out like the character and like what the mythology is of the witch, and probably a lot of it they took from actual like actual mythology, but I'm sure they added some of their own in as well.
Did this movie look good, like effect wise, back in 1989? Because watching it again, it's like it's so fucking laughable. The effects in this movie are so bad.
Like the tornado's really fucking bad.
Yeah, like stuff like that, though, man. I think it's just of the time, man. Like stuff like that really doesn't bother me. It's almost like a,
no, but it's like it's not even that it's just
charming.
laughable. You know,
to me, it has like a charm to it.
To me, it comes off like comical. And that's where I go back to like the tone of the film. Like, is it supposed to be more comical? Maybe that's why they have those type of effects.
No
in
way. I don't think the effects have anything to do with the comedic tone of the film. I just think they come off that way because they're dated and bad.
Yeah,
they're bad.
Yeah,
I think it's because it's such an independent film. So it's like
even in 1989, they still had some pretty good fucking effects.
Had a $7 million budget.
Oh really?
Some of those ones fucking. It comes off very, very laughable.
I just want to know, what were they thinking that they should make sequels to this? Like, who was sitting at the meetings? Like, who was sitting at the meetings with like their legs up on the desk and they're like, we should make a Warlock 2. Huh, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go do that. It's like, why the fuck would you choose this franchise out of something else? This doesn't make any sense to me.
To be honest, like I love the like the aging woman thing. Like I find it kind of sad, dude.
Yeah, I fucking hated that part, man.
I fucking hated that too.
Why?
Man.
It's so annoying.
Super lame.
Yeah, it's
annoying. I thought it was so lame, and I hated the.
Why
fact
was it
that,
lame?
Oh, he stole your bracelet.
It's a bad subplot. It's a bad thing. Like
it's not a subplot.
Yes.
Well, what? Yeah, kind of.
The main point is to kill the Warlock, and the main thing. The only reason
he fucks with Lori. It's like. Whatever, man. But like, she's got the whole thing with her fucking bracelet and stuff, and to reverse the spell. And I was like, what the fuck?
It's like all you have to do is take the bracelet back. That's not very.
Yeah,
smart.
I mean,
but
this is
it's
thrown
like
into
any
the film.
voodoo style stuff. I mean, that's how that shit works, man. Like that's.
Yeah, but I thought it was lame.
I'll tell you why it's not a subplot, and the reason why is because it has a meaning, it has a purpose in the story, and that purpose is to get our lead protagonist to team up with the hero.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what they're doing with that and stuff like that, but I mean, you really had to have that in there? I don't know. It's a
scary thought, man. I mean, aging,
I don't know.
2 decades every day. I mean, like you're going to be dead in 4 days. Like,
I guess I'll be fucking dead then.
I just didn't like the execution of it. It came off a little almost too cheesy for me. And I don't know. I just didn't like it.
I actually found it to be kind of scary.
She like really overacted when she was like changing too. It was like made me laugh when like she turned from 40 to 60. She's like, and then she's like, okay, I'm 60 now. And then when she's like running, it's just like
I don't know.
laughable.
But you're looking at it like okay, so. When a normal 60-year-old isn't going to be walking around like, but when you're drastically changed into having weak bones and stuff like that from one day to another, from being a fit person, you're probably going to be, it's going to be hypersensitive.
Well, yeah, that does make sense. It doesn't make it right that they put this in there. I don't know. I just don't like the age spell thing. I think it was kind of.
You guys have been too hard on this one.
This
fucking awesome.
You think this film's awesome?
Dude,
I do.
Okay, I'm really curious. I'm really curious on the $7 million budget because I thought that a lot of the things in the movie look really cheap. Like I thought costumes and stuff looked cheap. I thought the fucking wigs were horrid in this film. They were fucking bad.
The what?
Really, really bad. Like Laurie's fucking wigs and shit. Oh,
yeah, I didn't even know
they look so bad. They're horrible. Like, there's a lot of costumes and stuff that look really cheap and stuff, and I don't know, man. $7 million? Really?
I mean, I laughed pretty hard when he cut that guy's finger off.
And that's another thing that bugged me, too. Where the hell was the blood?
Yeah.
He cut his finger right off. I mean, apparently they saved all the gore for the fucking sequel.
Then he bit his tongue out. It's fucking funny. It's just funny how it landed in the frying pan.
I think one of the biggest things about this movie that bugged me was honestly the poor execution of soundtrack. I never knew what the fuck I was watching sometimes. Yeah. It was kind of comical in times, and then there was other parts where it felt almost over dramatic. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's so weird. The tone is so weird of this movie.
I definitely agree. I think the two biggest problems is one, the problem that we mentioned where the film doesn't really feel like it knows what it wants to be, and two is that score, and that's why I pointed it out first, is because I really noticed it. I was like, I think this film could be a lot, like, I actually think it would be a completely different film if it had a different score.
Yeah, it could definitely change it quite a bit.
Because there's some dark moments in this, dude. When that kid is like, talking to him, and he's like, I'm a warlock, I can fly or something. And he's like, well, then fly right now or something. He's like, I need special ingredients. And he's like, what are they made of? And he's like, ha 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 ha. I was like, yo, that is fucked up. They killed a kid, man. They skinned him alive. We don't see it, but like we hear about it.
You don't see anything in this movie
besides
him getting burned.
Yeah. Yeah, they really shied away from anything in this one. They didn't really want to show anything, but I don't know. Another thing that kind of bugged me, maybe it was the way what's her face? Is it Laurie Singer? A lot of the dialogue when she's talking in this film, it comes off. It just comes off way too comical. It's like the tone that she's using.
Does it feel dubbed?
I didn't really notice, but
I feel like sometimes it's dubbed. Like when she's old and you can't see her face and she's talking.
Yeah, maybe at times, yeah. But like there was a couple certain scenes where she was talking and the way she was delivering her lines was like, it fucking feels like a comedy, man. It just, I don't know, man. The tone of this film threw me off through the whole fucking thing. Like I think right from the beginning, the opening scene in 1691, it comes off very dark and kind of serious and stuff, and then as soon as the warlock gets into the present day, it just it just shifts so much for me. I'm just like, okay, I'd like to see this movie very, very dark toned, like really, really dark toned, like show them skinning that kid. Why not?
Mm-hmm. I
get it real
I'm
vicious,
cool without that. I don't think it needs to have that. I mean, I feel like the way that was executed was like good enough for me. Like it actually was like disturbing to me slightly. Now I will say that I probably think I know why this stuff doesn't bug me as much as you guys. I seen this film when I was a kid, and when I was a kid, I didn't really pick up on the comedy stuff. I just noticed that it was like kind of creepy. The warlock dude, killing that kid and stuff. That blinding that guy, man. Like I don't know, like. I maybe I have like a nostalgic glasses on with this one, but I actually really enjoy this film. I like it a lot, and I love the mythology of the character, and I actually am. I like the hero character. Like I like tracking down the warlock. I think that the idea of the god, the true name of God, being that was what he was seeking with the book and stuff. Like. I like that idea. I mean, it always, when you have these like super villains who want to destroy the world, it's always like, well, then what? Like then what?
Exactly.
But I mean, that's neither here nor there with those type of like villains. But I like the history of it. The church was over here, the hallowed ground stuff. Like they really did take time to kind of flesh out the mythology of the character, and I am a big fan of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they did definitely do some pretty good job with that and stuff, but I just think that, as a whole for the film, like, you just need a better tone for that type of decent mythology and stuff. Like, I do agree that a lot of that stuff is actually pretty good. It's not so bad. I mean, but it's so sad that they just completely threw the fucking shit right out the window for part 2. But, I don't know, man. I understand where you're coming from. Like, all the mythology and stuff it's pretty decent, but it's still not enough for me to get totally engulfed in the film. You know what I'm saying? I can't get past the tone, man. I just don't know what the hell I'm watching. It really bugs me. It really does bug me. So, I mean, there was some scenes in this film that were pretty good. Like, the scene where they're at the cemetery. And, I thought the atmosphere, it actually looked pretty creepy. I thought the whole setting of that, of the cemetery was really well done.
Yeah, I really like that too. And I like the coffin scene with the guy. Like, I like all that stuff.
But this is my point though. I mean, like, this is how it shifts in tone so much throughout the film. It's like all of a sudden.
It really does.
And like, man, you're like, wow, this is really good atmosphere. And then it's like right after that and it gets all comical again. You're like, what the fuck? It just keeps, kind of going. Throwing me for a loop a little bit, but I don't know. I understand where you're coming from with the mythology, though. I do understand that, but yeah.
There's actually a deleted scene that I read through trivia, and the fortune teller scene where he goes and channels like the devil through that fortune teller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the scene was originally supposed to end.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Topless and frozen, and the devil's eyeballs was gonna pop out of her breast.
Yeah.
And the warlock stomps on her to pieces to free them.
But people just like laughed at it, right?
Yeah,
I read it like test screenings. Like people saw that and they found it like hilarious. And
I think
they
that
laughed.
it just said negative test screenings.
Oh really? I heard that people laughed about it.
That's funny. What did you guys think of the Witch Hunter's witch compass?
I like it.
Yeah, I had no problem with it.
I think it's a little silly, but it's kind of intriguing too, because I was like, how the hell does that thing really work?
Yeah.
The whole time I just kept
Did he
asking myself the question. I'm like, okay, he sets this thing up, and then he puts these weights on the other side, and he's like, okay, Warlock's over there.
See,
I'm like, what?
And sometimes I feel like films like this, you have to just fill in the blanks. Like when you guys said about the thing at the beginning, like how do you time travel? And then I was just like, well, I think it was the way that he was chained up or he has magic or whatever. Also with the ending, I guess it would be the true name of God spoken backwards, undoes all of God's work and like kind of erases the world. I just kind of filled it in like, okay, well then what happens? It's the devil's turn to create a world, and the warlock is a person of the devil, so that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to please his master.
I think you have a little more patience with these films than me and Jeremy do.
Yeah,
because if you're sitting there filling in the blanks and stuff, I'm like, you know what? For a film like this where I can't figure out the goddamn tone of it,
I have to use my brain for other things.
I want you to fucking, spoon feed me a little bit in this one. Yeah. Come on, give me something where I just go, oh, fuck yeah, totally. Now that makes sense.
I have to use my brain for other important things. Not Warlock 1,
this
2,
film
and 3.
is fun, guys.
I mean, I didn't like hate this movie or anything. Like I said, it was just...
Was this one hard to get through for you?
Not as hard as 2 and 3, but...
No, actually, it kept me entertained throughout the whole movie. Like I said, I had a lot of questions while I was watching it. And there was
Julian
just a lot
Sands, I thought he was cool.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty cool in the film. There's just so many weird things about this movie that just kept questioning throughout the whole movie. But,
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. I think watching it at a young age definitely helped me out with it. Like that whole scene in the railroad yard with the nails and stuff, like I find that to be really well executed. The scene where she's trying to get her bracelet back, like I find it like she trips and falls. She's all old and stuff. Like I feel bad for her.
Oh man, I thought that was so long and not necessary. It's like she could have just got the bracelet and that would have been it, but they dragged it.
Dude.
They dragged it on for 4 minutes. It's like
I said, with the whole bracelet thing, I thought was super, super lame. I totally didn't like it. But actually, the scene where she starts nailing the nails into the sand, I thought that was actually pretty fucking cool.
that was cool.
Yeah.
But
and he put the piece of wood over his feet so it wouldn't hurt her, which didn't really make sense to me, but...
Yeah,
it's like a piece of wood makes it go away. Okay.
No, I think it's because he was barefoot and his feet were in the tracks. If he puts a nail there, it's gonna go through the nail because it's covering his foot. It's gonna go through the wood because it's covering his foot. Yeah. You gotta just fill in the blanks, man.
I don't know, man. It's not a terrible movie by any means, but I mean, it's not, in my opinion. I don't think it's great at all.
No, I wouldn't watch it again.
Man,
really,
I would love, like I said, I would
totally
this movie
watch it again.
really, really dark. Like
yeah,
a really dark
I would too. I would
of
too.
Because the whole witch thing, like to me, witches are kind of dark and like it's just the idea of what witches are.
Yeah,
It's
especially
dark.
if you would go like real dark and no comedy at all. The very idea of like, dude, that is a great idea. Like, their flying potion is fat from a unbaptized child. How dark is that, dude?
I know that is pretty fucking wild.
He's cooking up the fat on like a fire. Oh my god.
And then he drinks it. It's funny.
Like, that's one of those what the fuck moments where, like, I didn't remember that scene from the last time I watched this, and I was like, are you serious? Like, that is fucked up. But no, I mean, guys, like,
Dude,
I
when she
really
calls him a
like
fuck
this
brain
film.
at the end, I laughed so hard. I was like, fuck brain. Like, okay.
Nice comeback.
I do agree with the points that you've made, Moodz, about the tone and the soundtrack. Like, I'm totally down with that, but I think this film has a lot to offer. Like, I do find it very entertaining, and I kind of like the fantasy type of feel that it has as well. Like, I kind of like that, 17th century type shit sometimes, and yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say about this one. Do you guys?
This movie didn't, oddly enough, it was made in 1989, and this movie had no 80s feel to it at all. It felt like a fucking bona fide 90s film.
Uh-huh.
It did. I agree. I agree.
Like,
it's like real,
total 90s, right?
90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean,
But to be completely honest, I could talk about this film all day compared to 2 and 3.
Especially
I don't
know.
3.
Yeah. I mean, they really did amp up for part 2
Yeah.
for the kills and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because they really didn't, do that in this one. But I don't know. What do you guys rate this one? Jeremy, what do you rate this one?
4.5 out of 10.
Whoa.
JP?
I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
What the fucking hell?
Okay, I give it a 5.5 out of 10. I knew we were going to be all over the place on this one.
Guys, what the fuck, man? These guys are giving it lower than the IMDb rating, which is always lower than the actual rating.
I don't like the film. Sorry.
IMDb has it as 6.2 from 10,000 users. Jesus, man.
That's a lot.
Because
Of
it's a cult
crazy
classic,
users.
so what do you expect?
It's not. Not
Yeah.
very many people talk about this film at all.
It has a cult following.
Barely.
I don't know, man. Like
Lower
I said,
than the
it's decent.
IMDb rating, dude.
I'm not changing my
it's a
rating.
Yeah, I'm not overly too impressed with it, man. Like I said, I hadn't watched this movie in 20 years, and after I watched it, I was like, that's pretty much why I haven't watched it in 20 years.
Guys,
I didn't get a lot of enjoyment out of it, like, to be honest, and there was a lot of things that were super bugging me about this movie. Like I said, man, like, tone and, music and stuff, it's such a big element, and it's just coming off way too wrong for me. But, it had elements that were good. Like you said, I agree about the mythology and stuff, and that's good that they did that, But
yeah, I would be curious to the guys out there, the listeners and stuff. By the way, Steve Miner did direct House. But that's beside the point. Guys, back me up on this one, man. I have a feeling there's more fans out there than just me. Like, I feel like more people should be where I am at.
You don't have to defend yourself, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Just,
I'm
it's
not
not a big deal.
I'm not be like, oh, fuck that JP, I'm out of here. He likes Warlock.
No,
Yeah.
it's not about defending myself. I just want to prove that you guys are being too harsh on it.
Okay, coming from the guy that fucking totally ripped you dead.
Okay, you're telling me that's more entertaining than this shit?
No, I'm just using that as an example. He's telling me to fucking okay. I'm being too harsh. I think I was not very harsh on it at all.
No, I'm not saying
I stated
you guys
what
are
I
being
liked and what I
harsh.
didn't.
I just feel like maybe there's, I don't know. There's obviously some kind of thing that I'm getting that you guys aren't out of it, and I actually figured, like, when we did the original Warlock, I've never seen the sequels, but like the idea behind I actually thought that Moodz was gonna like this one, and Jeremy, because I remembered it fondly.
Theoretically, I did. 5.5 out of 10 is still a pass.
Yeah.
So.
All right, but it's a 7.5, guys, out there. Trust me.
All right,
pick it up.
7.5 on episode number 33.
Okay, so moving along into the 90s now. Warlock II, or Warlock the Armageddon, from 1993, directed by Anthony Hickox.
Whatever the fuck that is.
Exactly, right?
The heavens shall turn black as death. The birds shall be severed from the sky. And within the heart of each lie the icons of our destruction. His coming was foretold.
He is evil.
The Warlock is here.
The son of Satan has returned to fulfill his destiny.
Dost thou command?
There are 5 stones like the one she wears. You must possess them all.
He has 6 days to seek out the stones of power.
Who the hell are you? I'm interested in this stone. It's not for sale. I never said anything about buying.
And hold destruction in the palm of his hand.
Tomorrow, everything is gonna be destroyed.
I've come for the stone.
A chosen few stand between him and his quest.
Who am I?
A second warrior. Get the stone as far away as possible.
They must destroy him.
This is the best you can do!
Before he destroys creation.
Welcome to the other side of reality.
But to conquer the Warlock,
Happy trails, partners.
they must face the ultimate fear. Julian Sands.
It is time.
Warlock, the Armageddon.
Alright, so Warlock, the Armageddon, 1993. They throw away every bit of continuity from the first film, which drives me insane when they do that. But this one follows, I guess, who knows if it's the same Warlock, he looks the same, it's the same actor. Every 600 years, a great evil has an opportunity to escape and unleash Armageddon. A group of 5 stones has
through a lunar eclipse
to either free the evil or banish it for another 600 years. An order of druids battle with a warlock determined to unleash his father upon the world. So basically, this warlock is allowed to come out every 600 years during a 2 different kinds of like eclipses. That happens in like 5 days apart or 6 days apart. And he's basically going through the country grabbing these different stones that are in the hands of different people, killing them off. Meanwhile, there's a young loving couple who are trying to get out of the town that they're in. It's holding them down. And turns out their fathers are druids and shit, so they have to learn how to battle a warlock.
It's like, how hard would it be to slick back your fucking hair so you look like the same damn Warlock, dude? Like, his hair is like...
I don't mind that.
Yeah, I know, but that's like the main nitgrit that I had, like, when he got birthed by this lady, which fucking made me laugh. Made me laugh.
Okay, this movie right here starts off really, really bad.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned this with the opening
credits sequence, man.
So bad.
It's like every
poorly
5
done.
Every 5 seconds, like, wah, pause.
Well, see, I don't have a problem with that being
pause.
done. I mean, Rob Zombie's done that in the past, but it's just the execution on this one felt sloppy.
Well, exactly.
There's a way to do that, and this was the wrong way.
And then followed by terrible dialogue in this movie, man. Yeah. There's some really, really bad conversations and just poorly written script.
Remember what I said yesterday when we were talking? You're like, is it better than the first? Is Warlock 2 and 3 better than the first one? I was like, nope. Shitty acting, shitty dialogue, and the effects are the only good thing. That's about it.
Man,
sounds... Yeah.
The whole thing with the druids, man. Man, they got to do a little more research and stuff when they're, incorporating these type of things into these films, because they're talking about like how these druid characters get like their mystical powers and stuff from Christ and stuff, and I was like, what? I mean, the druids and the Hebrews,
were they? I thought they was getting them from like the trees and shit.
No, I think it was implied that they were actually getting it from God and stuff. But the funny thing is about the history of druids and stuff, they were around way before Christ and whatnot. And, you know, they don't really incorporate that properly. I think it's just kind of misleading. I mean, if you do know your, you know, history and stuff, if you kind of look at it, what they're doing, you're like, what? That doesn't make any fucking sense. And in my opinion, it's actually just ignorant. Right?
Yeah, well, there was no Wikipedia pages back then, and people didn't know what the hell was going on. So sometimes
it's called a book, JP.
Because I actually was watching the movie and I stopped it to check out something. I was like, Druids. I'm like, this doesn't seem right. And sure enough, it even says fucking. It just didn't make sense what they did in the movie. But you know, it's one of those things like
Druids were around before Christ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they're talking about the Druids that happened after Christ.
Well, I mean, they could be. But I'm just saying it. But they basically say that they get their powers from God, from Christ and stuff.
Well, maybe they do not.
And I'm like, but I mean, but they obviously had powers and stuff because they're talking about Druids in general, right? So there was obviously a time before Christ, and they had these powers, these magical powers and stuff, even then, because that's what they do. They have these magical powers to protect Earth from the evil, right? And this is before Christ, too. So you have to imply that to it, man.
Yeah, but you can also look at it like, well, stuff happened after Christ also.
You can, but I'm just saying the Druids always had these mystical powers. So where were they getting it before Christ then?
Where were they?
I'm just saying, like, if they, you know, obviously they could be getting it from Christ now, like, because it's like present day Druids and stuff. I don't know, but it just doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't, because if the Druids always had these mystical powers before Christ was ever around, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying that it doesn't necessarily disprove it either, because just because they got them from something else beforehand doesn't mean that they could get them from something else after. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just saying, if the Druids already had these powers, why would they be going?
Maybe they're stronger now.
We get them from Christ.
Maybe with the added of Jesus, maybe their powers are a little bit stronger than they were back then.
Mm-hmm. I guess. But once again, you have to kind of work things out in your own head. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, really?
Well, let me just say this, guys. This is like, I didn't even think twice about that stuff because I don't really know much about Druids and shit, so I was just rolling with it. I'm like, all right, they fucking get their powers, and it
probably works a lot better. It works a lot better if you don't know these things when you're watching this film, because if you don't know, then it's like whatever, there's no harm, right? But I knew something was wrong there. I was like looking it up, and fuck, sure enough, man, you know, it wasn't right. But you know, it's just the way it goes, you know. But yeah, this one really doesn't have any continuity to the first film at all. And does the Warlock not seem like he's kind of indestructible in this one? He seems like a lot more, just harder to basically kill. Like, he just seems like he's more godly, you know? You know what I'm saying? In this one?
Definitely.
You know, he's like totally... And you even brought it up too. It's like, is this the same Warlock?
Yeah, it's
well,
like,
who
how
knows?
did he get resurrected? He got burned to a crisp.
And that's
exactly
what I was
confused.
To that? I was so confused on how he actually did come back.
Yeah.
If this is the same person, I was like, that's why I was like, man, this guy's like indestructible in this film. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of go with my Leprechaun logic. Okay, the Leprechaun series has different, like, if you look at it and try to connect that all the Leprechauns are the same person, you can't, because the continuity is wrong. It specifically says in this film that he's 600 years old and 1,000 years in this film. So maybe, you know, I'll use the same logic in this. It's a different Warlock, but they kind of all look the same, much like the Terminators do, Arnold Schwarzenegger style. Leave it at that. Just, you know, fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I felt like this one, now I don't know what year Wishmaster came out, but this one feels very Wishmaster-y to me.
Wishmaster came out in 99.
Wow. So maybe Wishmaster was influenced by this film.
Oh, Wishmaster? Sorry, I thought you were talking about the third one.
The first one came out in like the early 90s or something.
Yeah.
Did you get that vibe at all?
I'll check one sec.
97.
Yeah, a little bit.
97.
Yeah, a little bit, man. Yeah. I never thought about it until you mentioned it right now, but yeah.
Once again, man, I don't mind. Like this is just one of those films where, like, I know that I'm one of the big people that say, like, it has to make sense. I'm all for logic in horror movies and stuff. But this is one where it's like, okay, there's a bunch of gimmick, like, it's just another plot point. Like, last time it was pages from a book, this time it's fucking stones. I'm down with it. Let's just roll with it. I just want to see the Warlock, like, fuck some shit up and stuff. Like, it's all good.
I wanted some fucking story behind these stones, though, too. Like, a little more.
It has story, though. It has enough story to get you by. That it makes sense, right? I mean, these stones, once they're combined together, just like the pages, will do some bad shit, usually involving the devil.
Yeah, exactly. But I wanted to know, like, exactly, like, where these stones came from and just, like, honestly, just give me something there. You know, it's like, oh, these stones, they do this and that. And I'm like, what the
They're
fuck?
fucking ancient druid in rune stones that were like, what is a rune stone? It's like a magical stone that was...
That's the thing, I don't know.
Imbued with spells. Like, that's what a rune stone is.
So this Anthony Hickok guy directed the Waxwork films and Hellraiser 3 also.
All three solid.
That's why I recognize.
But they feel the same. All four of those films feel like this, like like this kind of film.
Yeah, they kind of do, funny. Actually.
Yeah. So, man, I don't know. Like,
it had cool effects.
Look at Evil
I have to
Dead,
give it that.
right? The book, it's from some ancient shit, and it's bound in human flesh and inked in human blood, and it has demonic spells. It's the same shit. They don't ever go into the book and why it does what and where the spells come from and shit. Just roll with it.
That's because the Evil Dead works, though, because you don't need anything there. It's like, oh, these stones, like, where the and how the there's just so many things that are bugging me. I'm like, okay, if these things are so mystical and fucking they do some crazy ass shit and stuff, and why are people wearing these things as fucking earrings or whatever the hell they are? And
why does somebody find a super rare penny in their basement? You know what I'm saying?
Oh my dude, you could argue everything like this, man.
Yeah,
you can go on for days like this.
Time,
but I'm just saying,
dude.
I'm just
600 years. You're telling me that they're gonna be like, locked away in some fucking castle like 600 years later, dude? Time has a way of like forgetting. It's probably turned into a myth about these stones at one point.
Well, I'm assuming that a lot of these people didn't even know what they really had, though, too. You know, like with the stones and stuff. I know the one guy, the one collector dude, he knew what the fuck he had. You know,
yeah,
to an extent.
To an extent, he probably didn't know what. He just knew there was some rare shit that probably has legend around him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like today, right? I mean, there's shit like that in the world today. But let's talk about the effects a little bit. I mean,
it was really cool.
Impressed at all?
Yeah, very good effects. Like
I was super surprised.
Yeah, well, like when she was giving birth and she was like, and the thing ate the dog. Like that was pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. Actually, Erin came downstairs when I was watching that part, and she's like, "Aw, that thing ate the dog."
Not the Pomeranian.
Yeah, actually, no. The effects were definitely
really
a huge step up, and it was nice to see this film that had a little darker tone and it had a little more gore and blood and just things that I was looking for out of the first one.
I thought like when they were doing the surgery after the dad shot the kid. And, like, the skin, like, coming back together. That was a pretty cool effect.
Yeah, that was cool. I like the scalp ripping.
Yeah,
the scalp ripping was fucking gnarly. I actually bursted out laughing at that part, though, man. The way he grabs her. It comes off so perfect, too, right? It's
well,
like,
I'll tell you guys right now. Without those effects, this film would be utter garbage. And I'm dead serious. Because it does not have enough plot to go with that. But since there are so many kills and there's so often and there's so much gore... that it's kind of like a slasher, right? I mean, the story's kind of bogus, and you don't really have much there.
This one totally feels like a slasher film because he's going around collecting these things, and he's got to kill off all these people. It's essentially like a slasher film.
Yeah,
which I think it worked, and I like the tone a lot better of this film because it's it's pretty nasty actually at times.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying, in the same way that I don't see, I feel like I'm almost being biased though. Because I am usually the one that says you have to have story and you have to have plot, but I am admitting that. I'm admitting all that shit is whack. I'm saying it's acceptable and it's dealable, just like any other slasher, like Slaughter High or something. Like, why is this chick taking a bath in the middle of a murder spree? Stuff like that.
Because the audience needs to see titties, man. Right at that moment.
Yeah. So it's kind of like one of those things. It's not super serious. It's about the kills. It's about the ride. It's not necessarily about the story. And goddamn, it gets cheesy with that romantic shit sometimes in this film.
I just noticed it. Sorry, Moodz, I cut you off.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna make my Chicago reference. Like, when he's in fucking Boston or wherever he is in the beginning of the film, and he goes up to the cabbie and he says, "Take me to Chicago." I want to know how the fuck he knows what
Didn't
Chicago
he make a map
is.
out of flesh?
Okay, so he made a map out of flesh, but it doesn't say the states' names or anything. He's from the 1600s. How the fuck does he know what Chicago is?
How you know it doesn't?
Because in the first film, he's in South Carolina and Boston, and those were all colonies in the 1600s. So how the fuck does he know what Chicago is?
Because it's
Chicago...
magic, and it's a magic flesh map that tells him where to go.
Yeah, but once again, JP, that's ridiculous.
That just made me laugh.
Why is it
like,
ridiculous? It's a magic flesh map, dude. That is ridiculous.
No,
a magic flesh map?
It's the fact that he knows about Chicago. He's
a fucking wizard.
But he shouldn't know about Chicago, though. It doesn't matter. Just because you're a
got
wizard
a direct contact with the devil. Does the devil know about Chicago? Probably.
Oh, God. Give me a break.
Yeah, he was in the woman's fucking...
It is a ridiculous part of the film.
How you know he didn't, maybe it wasn't... that we don't see him directly go from there to there. There's a scene that, there's a cut. Could have learned about Chicago on MapQuest or something.
He was in the fucking cab. He asked the cabbie to take him to Chicago, so how could there be a cut?
I mean, well, there's from when he figured out that he had to go somewhere to when he got to the cab.
Oh, come on,
walking
JP.
down the street and shit.
Oh, give me a break, man. That's ridiculous, dude.
It's ridiculous. I don't know, man. Like, the thing is, when I watch films like this, like, if there could be an explanation, then I'm just gonna go with it.
Like, what did he do? Did he go up to somebody in the gas station, show him the flesh map, and be like, "Do you know where this is?"
But dude,
really?
it's like fucking, it's like, you being transported from the 1600s into present day, and then the first thing you say and go, "Hey man, can you take me to that In-N-Out burger?"
Well, do I have magic powers?
It doesn't make any sense, man.
You
wouldn't know about In-N-Out burger.
Do I have a flesh map that shows me stuff, and do I have direct contact with the devil?
Oh my god!
Good God, G.
So you're telling me that he couldn't have asked the devil, like, "Where am I going?"
Well, but
he's like, "You're going to Chicago."
But that's kind of the point, though. Like, you just have to, use your imagination and just
obviously
these
it's
things
bad
to this.
filmmaking when you don't explain stuff like this. But let's be honest here. I mean, I'm okay with sacrificing this. The thing about the time travel one in the first film, where like how did he get free and stuff, that's a valid one. But this, I say cut it. Maybe there was a scene and they cut it, because why are you going to fill running time with him figuring out where Chicago is? You know what I mean? You have to go there. So let's just cut that scene out, and let's just have him ask the cab driver to take him to Chicago.
Okay, whatever. I mean,
that's a valid point, dude.
I guess so. But I mean, but I mean, in the perspective of watching the film, when that part happens and he's like, "Yo, Chicago," it's like, what? You can't help but question that. It just sounds goofy. It sounds so fucking goofy.
It is goofy.
It is totally goofy.
And obviously there's plot holes and stuff. Like, I'm not going to deny that. I'm just like, I'm just playing a little devil's advocate here, man. I don't know. I like this one too, yo.
Fucking insane.
What about, I think the best thing about this movie really is, like we said, like the
effects.
The effects in this film, like the kill count in this film is so much higher than the first one. I don't even know what the body count in this one is. Does anybody have an idea? Like, it seems like it's like 3 times higher than the first one.
I know it's written by the guy who wrote Rad.
Really?
Yep.
Awesome. Like, I like the shotgun scene. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There was a lot of cool scenes.
How about when he's walking down the invisible steps?
Oh, God, that was so awesome.
I like that stuff, man.
I like when the lady fell through the window. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, man, she got fucked up, man.
Reminded me of Suspiria, man. It's awesome.
You know what? It kind of did it at times for me, too. Like, you look at her and you got that big-ass piece of fucking
glass in her face.
Like, right through her. Oh, I was like, oh, gnarly. Yeah, so... But yeah, I gotta say, though, the thing that got me through this movie was waiting for the next kills and stuff. I really like the scene where, the Warlock, he just kind of points his fingers at the dudes and fucking shoots them.
That was awesome too, man.
That's perfect magic. That's magic right there,
Not where
so
Chicago
he can make
is.
a finger gun and a bullet appear out of nowhere, but he can't know where Chicago is?
No, he can't know where Chicago is. That's totally unacceptable.
Okay, but listen, guys. So, if you do watch this as a slasher, you know, and just enjoy the kills and stuff, yeah, obviously it's a bad movie. I'm not gonna lie. I know that it's a bad movie, but it's an entertainingly bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just like any other slasher, dude, filled with plot holes, nothing makes sense, characters are doing shit they shouldn't be doing. I do feel like the kills were peppered in very well because, you know, at first I was like, okay, like, I'm pretty impressed right now. They definitely probably blew their wad, and they're probably not going to have anything for a while. And it was just one after another, and I was genuinely surprised at the amount of gore that there was in this film. And I almost felt like it was like, is this going to be, like, pushing the R rating pretty soon? Because, like, there's a lot of gore in this film.
Yeah, it really did surprise me, too, considering, like we said, the first film, I mean, when the guy gets his fingers cut off or his finger, it doesn't even bleed. And this one, they're like fucking blood and gore and guts everywhere. It's actually quite a step up. It was pretty, not shocking. I don't want to use the word shocking, but it was just, I kind of went, wow. Yeah, I kind of went, wow, holy shit. You know, they amped it up, you know, for this film. Anyways. And then took a huge step back in part 3.
Yep.
Listen, but the budget of this film was $3 million. It had a theatrical release and it made $3,900,000.
Are you fucking kidding me? This movie had a $4 million less budget than the first one?
I guess so.
Wow, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Because this one actually does look a lot better.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't really know what else to say about it. You know, I thought that the overall tone for this one was a lot better. I thought the score was a lot better in this film too. Just a bunch of ridiculous scenes in this one, but you know, I enjoyed them though. I got to say the one scene with the collector, when the Warlock transforms him into whatever, that little statue.
Yeah.
Dude, I was fucking pissing myself. I was like, that's so goofy looking.
It is. It really is.
It was so goofy looking the way they had those eyes moving in there. Fucking awesome. But yeah, I don't know, man. I had a lot more fun with this movie, to be honest. You know, but it's not a great movie by any means, but I had a lot more fun, which really does count.
Yeah. Yeah. So, ratings?
Same thing here. 4.5 out of 10.
4.5 out of 10. I'll go next. I give it a 6.5 out of 10.
I give this one also a 5.5 out of 10.
Both still below the IMDb rating. That never happens. I'm telling you, that those ratings are always way lower than
maybe
actual
you should pick
ratings.
better movies, and then I'll give them a higher rating.
Dude, I was so surprised.
Says the guy
when
who picks fucking 4 terrible Fangoria films.
No,
that was the worst. That was
actually
way worse than this, dude.
That was 5 films.
No, 1 was good.
Oh yeah, 1 was good.
Yeah.
I'll redeem myself next week.
I was really surprised at the IMDb ratings on here being so high. I expected these to be like in the 3-4 range when I clicked on the pages.
Yeah, I mean, but they're fun.
Yeah, I mean,
not all of them.
It's okay. But yeah, so speaking of fun,
A house has been in my family for hundreds of years. I didn't even know about it. Why don't you come with me? It'll be an adventure.
You may not like what you find.
I'll get it.
Hello. My name is Philip Covington.
Would you mind if I look around?
Be my guest.
Very powerful energy in this place.
Okay, Philip. I get a bad vibe. You get a bad vibe watching cartoons.
His soul burns and he'll belong to me.
I think he's a warlock. True followers of the craft work their spells with the aid of a personal item from their victim.
There's nothing for you here. What do you want?
You. I've waited a long time.
We gotta get out of here.
Do you remember?
Warlock 3.
The End of Innocence from 1999.
1999, the end of the 90s, and wow, does this one definitely feels like the later 90s for sure. I mean, even from the DVD cover of this film, You know, it has all the cast on, you know, just their faces. It's that very
You know
typical
how I
late
feel about
90s.
that.
God, dude, fucking right from the DVD cover, it's just fucking terrible. Warlock 3, The End of Innocence. So this is, you know, I guess it's not. So they made 3 movies in 10 years. I can't believe they actually made a third one. It just blows my mind.
Like I said, I have no
You
idea
know what's crazy? Yeah, what to add to what Jeremy was saying, like they made Warlock 2 in 1993, and then 6 years later, some guys sitting there like, you know what?
We should make Warlock 3.
I just had an idea. What do you guys think about making another Warlock film? Dude, what a great idea. Like,
and then they were like
crazy conversation.
And they went up to Julian Sand and they're like, "Here's the script, sir, for the new Warlock film." And he looked at it. He's like, "I'm not doing this shit." So they had somebody else.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
You gotta get
well,
Bruce
that was
Payne.
one of my biggest complaints right away.
Yeah.
I guess we should get into the plot of this one.
Yeah, the plot.
Warlock 3, The End of Innocence, from the year 1999. A college student unexpectedly finds that she has inherited a house accompanied by a group of friends. She goes there to clear up her heirlooms before the structure is demolished. Almost immediately, she and her friends are targeted by a powerful warlock who is very interested in her bloodline.
Yep, that's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, this one has a
So
really
ratings, everybody?
This one has a really fucking bad setup to the film. It's just
it feel so like almost full moon.
Yeah.
It just
but
feels
not
so
good
bad.
full moon.
I mean, it's just such a bad story. It's like, oh,
how many times have you seen
this
that?
house?
Man?
This house has been in my family for hundreds of years, and they're gonna demolish it. So, and I'm
Not
the
only
only living
that.
member. I'm the only living member left in my family history, and so I got to go fucking save this house. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? They couldn't come up with a better story than this shit.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Sounds like Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Yeah, this is just.
That does sound like
bad.
Texas Chainsaw 3D.
This one's bad right from the start, and like one of the almost all the characters in this movie suck too. Is it just me, or is like everyone not that likable?
I'll tell you right now, nobody in this entire film, including the Warlock, interests me at all. Like, nobody had any bit of charisma. Nobody stood out.
You said you were falling asleep, right, JP?
I didn't say I was falling asleep, but I did say I was out of it. Like, I would, like, just...
But Ashley Lawrence is in it, man. Come on.
No characters in this movie were interesting. It was fucking terrible. And, I mean, even including the Warlock himself, you know? I'm just like...
Yeah.
That monotone delivery.
Christy was
just
in it.
staring.
It's actually Kirsty.
Oh, fuck you, JP.
Just saying. There's some hardcore Hellraiser fans that might get mad at you about that one.
So let them bend me over and rape me for saying her name wrong.
Yeah. I don't think that's what they would do, but... no, but in all honesty, this movie's crap, dude. I can't even defend this one.
Yeah, this one didn't obviously have any continuity. It's just a really, really boring storyline. And why the fuck did they ever make this movie? I don't get it, man. Like,
it's even more mind-boggling than the idea to make the first sequel, because the first Warlock, even though you guys like have issues with it, and I agree that they're there. Like Jeremy said, it has a cult following, and it did okay at the time. Like I'm sure it was a high rental at the video stores. It seemed moderately, Hollywoodish, I guess. But this one, man, like the idea that they made a sequel after the second film. I
love reading this review on Rotten Tomatoes. It says, "This dreadful third installment is more like the TV series Friends than the previous entries, and it has replaced the wonderful Julian Sands with a horribly miscast Bruce Payne in this pointless bore." That's an awesome review.
I'm surprised he didn't use a Bruce Payne pun.
This movie was Bruce Painful. Oh. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing good to say about this movie. Even the fucking kills sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'm like really just waiting for good kills and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I hate these characters, pretty much all of them. I'm like, Bruce Payne, you gotta start fucking some shit up here, man. and it just never happens.
Was that what he was like?
And then I was like
staring at there and looked down at the DVD cover, looking at Bruce Payne staring at you like dog, you gotta start fucking some shit up because I can't take it anymore.
I did, man. I grabbed my DVD and I was like, Bruce, this is painful, man. This is
it's
fucking
like,
terrible.
Just look, we gotta have a chat. We gotta have a chat. Man.
But like, fucking bad. I mean, this one does have a little bit of titties in it, though.
Yeah. A little bit.
So does that save it for you?
Sex and pain? Sex and pain? No, it totally didn't, man.
No.
It's fucking bad.
Close. But, oh my god. The thing about this one is, remember in the second one we're like, okay, like it has a lot of good kills and stuff. Without it, it would be crap. Mm-hmm. This is without it. And this is not only without it, but if you take all the kills out of the second film and you have the storyline, it's still a stronger storyline than this one.
Yeah. What a heaping pile of shit this one is, man. I don't even know what to say about this movie because there's really nothing to say about it. It's just
don't watch it.
It's a really poor script. It's got a terrible cast. Like it's fucking okay. Did you guys even like the setting in the house?
Nope, not at all.
I thought it sucked too, man. I was like, you guys are going to have this ancient house that's like, hundreds of years old and stuff. Make it fucking cool. Don't make it like super low budget, full moon shit, fucking.
Yeah, but even full moons look cool. Castle Freak, come on, dude.
Yeah, man. No, full moon always has like awesome, pretty cool settings and stuff. But like, you get the odd full moon film that's just like the worst piece of shit ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Witchcraft 3.
Yeah, shit like that. It's like this. I'm like, what the fuck? This is horrible. There's no redeemable qualities about this film. Like, how did they not have kills? How do you they didn't even take one step back in this film. They took a fucking, they did 16 backflips backwards.
Yeah.
With this one. It's fucking ridiculous, man.
There's actually nothing to say about this one.
Nah.
No, there really isn't.
It's like Toolbox Murders remake.
So you guys want to hear something funny? So I've got my notes for Warlock 1 and 2 here, and then Warlock 3. The only note that I have for the whole movie,
boobs?
I wrote titties.
It is true though, because you know what? That's a perfect thing because I was sitting here watching Warlock. I was kicked back, chilling. The first two went by great for me. Like I didn't have an issue with them. The third one, it was one of those situations where I had to remind myself to watch the fucking TV and not like grab my phone. I had to put my phone away so I would stay paying attention, and I still would end up looking at the wall instead of the film, or looking around the room, or looking at my dog. And then I would see titties, and I'd be like, oh, and that's it. Like that's the whole thing I remember pretty much. Is like every once in a while there was boobs.
Yeah. That's so sad that we've talked about boobs more than anything about the film.
Yeah. Well, boobs are the best thing in life, man.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce Payne sucked. Just saying.
Yeah, he was not good, man.
I mean, like, the original Warlock might not have been the greatest, but
Julian Sands cool, man.
He like, this guy's terrible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought Ashley Lawrence did a pretty good job in the film, though. She was okay.
You want to like her, it's Kirsty. But you know what? I love Kirsty in Hellraiser, but I'm not like a big fan of her because I don't like her in Hellraiser Bloodline and shit that I've seen her in. I think she did a fantastic job in the first two Hellraisers. Like her a lot. I think she's a great final girl in those two films, but she's not like a Danielle Harris or a Heather Langenkamp or something where I'll like her in everything she's in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
Ratings?
Man, I really just do not know what to say about this movie. It's just utter shit.
It's a total avoid. Like, if you're gonna watch the Warlock films, which I do recommend you watch both 1 and 2, they're very solid despite what these guys say. But Warlock 3, man, it's not even worth picking up. I paid $9.99 for this shit, dude.
I paid fucking $5.50 for my DVD.
Yeah,
man.
I paid $5
about
plus
that.
shipping.
I'm pissed about that.
I bought Warlock 1, 2, and 3, $10 each. Amazon Prime that shit. It was
The crazy thing about the Warlock Trilogy DVD set here is that the third one is the hardest one to get.
Yeah.
Go fucking figure.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Because no one wants it.
Oh God, it's such a fucking piece of shit. Ratings, Jeremy.
2 out of 10.
I thought you were gonna say 1. It's not bad. 2.
It's on par with Bloody Homecoming, so that's great.
Jeremy or GP.
This is definitely an avoid. I'll give it a 2.5 out of 10.
That's exactly what I gave it to. 2.5 out of 10.
We should have a Hall of Pain.
It's a Hall of Pain.
I know exactly what we can put on the banner.
Hall of Shame, man. Hall of Shame right there.
We're gonna put Bruce Payne as our mascot for the Wall of Pain.
So when you click on the Wall of Pain.
It's look.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I'm gonna Photoshop out the cover of the whole cast sitting there, and I'm just gonna put the movie poster on his hands.
So what makes it into the Hall of Pain?
If it hits lower than a 6 lower than like an 8 from all of us.
Lower than
no,
8?
An 8 out of 10.
No, I think it would have to be like lower than a. I think it would have to be like 3 or below, right? If we did it the opposite.
Oh, are we doing the opposite? I thought we were doing.
I'm not making a Wall of Pain, guys. Okay.
Fucking rights, do it, man.
Yeah,
do it,
man.
Warlock, and this will only be for like feature reviews.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
if we get like a really really shit one that goes on the Wall of fucking Pain.
I think the only what was the worst one we got? Entity.
I think Entity, man.
Entity would definitely be in the Wall of Pain.
Yeah. Hey guys, that's the thing about picking these featured reviews when we don't know what they are. Sometimes it could be a shit review session, but I'm sure we said some funny shit in here.
Like me getting raped by Hellraiser fans for saying their name wrong.
Yeah, and it is what it is. Like, there's not much to say about Warlock 3.
Hopefully the director doesn't message you, JP, and be like, "Why'd you hate my film?"
Yeah, he'll probably message us and be like, you know what, you guys were actually pretty right about that.
He's like, yeah, actually, I hated the film myself. It was painful. It was Bruce painful.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's never going to get old.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I cannot believe this guy's name is Bruce Payne. This is going to end. Oh, man.
House of Pain. Wall of Pain.
It's too good. It's too good.
So, yeah. But next week, hopefully, we'll have some better films to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
The Warlock Trilogy, man. I mean,
stay away.
If they go make like a Warlock 4 or something, it would literally blow my mind.
Never gonna happen.
They made a Warlock 4, man. I'm fucking quitting.
Yeah, never gonna happen.
I'm just hanging it up.
Like,
man.
I'll accept like a Warlock versus Leprechaun, or like a Warlock versus Dujin or something from Wishmaster, because there was actually a Leprechaun versus Warlock comic, guys, that exists.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Crazy.
Man, that was a rough one, man. That Warlock 3, wasn't having fun with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's going to do it for episode 33. Yes, we surpassed 32, didn't we, David? So that is going to do it for the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast this week. Jeremy?
All right. So, thank you for listening to the 33rd episode of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. As always, if you want to follow the man Moodz himself, you can do so at youtube.com/Moodz616. And if you want to follow JP, aka the man who hates Pee Wee Herman, you could follow him on his channel at youtube.com/DoubleShotJ. And as always, you can follow me on my channel at youtube.com/NESRuler22. And as always, if you have any questions, you could send us an email at the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror at gmail.com. That's 22 Shots of Moods, AND Horror at gmail.com. And as always, you can listen to us on the devilseyes.com. And you could also send us any questions that you have in a voicemail at 724-426-6665. And as always, you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/22shotspodcast. And as always, please check us out on our new website at the 22 Shots of moodsandhorror.com, where we have a whole bunch of things going on over there right now, including a new section titled The Hall of Pain.
Yeah.
I'm not making the Hall of Pain.
Yes, you are.
Oh my god, another project. Jesus. Listen, guys, definitely check out the website, though. I mean, we put a lot of hard work into it, and it's going to keep getting better. And a lot of fights. Blood, actually. I cut myself when I was typing the other day. It wasn't pretty. And I still got a tiny little paper cut there, and it still hurts, so feel bad for me.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll check you next week.